Excuse me, bitch. This is Royal Realm Radio.
Royal Realm Radio?
Whoa, Bobby, it's Royal Realm Radio.
Royal Realm Radio.
Chico, this is Royal Realm Radio.
Mr. Krabs, it's Royal Realm Radio.
Hi, Demon, it's Royal Realm Radio.
Jack, it's Royal Realm Radio.
This is Royal Realm Radio.
There it is.
I don't mind it. That was like, you know, the GPS was letting us know.
But at the same time, I like, because I do these so frequently, and sometimes like I'll do 2-3 in a day to get them done. Her voice is repetitious and I can't stand it. All right, everybody. So we gonna welcome Mike Tech to Royal Realm Radio.
Wish.com, Fred Durst is in the house.
With that motherfucking red Yankees cap.
And spooky dookies.
Bro.
That's my new favorite line. That's my new, like, I want to base the whole lifestyle off of the fact that he said spooky dookie in a verse.
I love how you hear something like that. Like when I was like, you could take this shit and stick it right up your anus. You was like, that's the shit. You were like, that's that shit.
You need those special little things to latch on to. I mean, look at how goofy we got years ago with Twat Waffle, and people are still finding that song. And it's
Bro,
just those fun words.
Have you seen the TikToks under Twat Waffle? Like,
that's my favorite one to click on and go through. And I'm like, dude, there's like 1,000 people that were just like, they wanted to tell somebody they're a twat waffle. They grabbed our song.
I was like, that's the one.
And I mean, we were like 5-year-olds that day, just throwing that word back and forth. And then it was like, that should be a song and done, you know, history.
I think it's funny that I told like Cartoon and everybody, I was like, listen, I've been saying that Mike was that guy back in 2019, 2020. And then everybody's just now finding out fucking 4 or 5 years later. I was like, I did hella shit with Mike, and I was always like, he's that fucking guy. And now everybody's like, wait, yeah, he is that fucking guy.
and I don't know if it's something that I did that I just purposely like snuck around in the background and just I was picking and choosing how I interacted, or if it just my style of goofballness just took time to find the right. I don't know. Fuck it, man. We just got to trust the universe to get us to that place where we're going.
Me and Chris were talking about that, and we actually said, like, I've known Chris for like what, a year and a half now, since I've been doing like tunes things and shit like that. And I didn't become close with Chris until recently. And he was like, yeah, the universe is funny like that. Like, we're cool now, but like we probably weren't meant to be cool back then.
Yeah. It's trusting the universe to put you in those places. Like today, you knew I was waiting on the Safe Light guy. Well, when he pulled up, I heard good music bumping. So like already right away, I'm like, oh, I got to go grab a copy of the CD. And like, I'm just going to hook this guy up with a Bro Thomas CD. And so, you know, I throw him the $20 tip because this guy's out here in the rain, you know, doing nasty stuff on windshields today. So I'm like, you know, let me bless you with this $20 first. And also, I got this suspicion that you're a CD collector. And he's, yeah, I do collect CDs. So of course, you know, I bust out. I'm like, here's this, you know, the Bro Stradamus. And
I'll do it like Chris did. You pull out yours.
I was looking for a place I could prop it. I'm like, could I prop it up? Will it post up on the microphone?
Fucking Chris, he was so.
Oh, it'll stay on the microphone.
Like he was. He was just boom.
I clicked. I saw Chris pull it out. I went right to the timestamp, and I was like, wow, that's like 1 minute 57 seconds that he just did the, and he tried to act like he didn't even do nothing. He was just.
I was just like, that's slick.
But so anyway, I bust out the CD, and it turns out the dude that just fixed my windshield is also an audio engineer, a multi-instrumental player, all the things. And I was like, dude, you know, I wasn't sure. Like, I was trying to read you through the whole thing to see if this would. So I just said, screw it. Even if you don't like this, hold on to it, put it on Discogs in like 3 years. In 3 years, these things are going to be like 40, $50 on Discogs.
Right.
You know? So, but like, yeah, that was just one of those little things from the universe that, you know, maybe me and this dude aren't going to link up musically, but like that CD needed to get passed to him for some, whatever reason. I'm trusting it.
I can't wait to tell people that I've been down with Mike Tech since he was doing Greta Von Fleet fucking rap things.
Dude. Yeah.
I don't even know if a lot of people fucking know about that, like nowadays. Like,
I busted those out a couple weeks ago and was like, wow, like there was a couple of them that were skippers, but like a lot of that was really fucking dope. Like, how did I find a loop, keep the hook in, like, and it even crazier was the Grandma's Boy one. That was like the first one I bought the CD and I listened to it for like 2-3 days before I was like, I think I heard enough pieces that I think there's enough in there that even if I just take the shittiest loop from each song for the verse, I could do it. And honestly, so I'm looking at the rap ones on there thinking, oh, I can just go on I'll find the instrumental.
Yeah.
Dude, I could not find the Zion I instrumental and the fucking last one, the Cool Keith one, that Grandma's Boy.
Keith, Cool Keith. I noticed a lot of his instrumentals are like super under wraps.
Yes, and it's not out there. You cannot find it to like. I think maybe you could buy it on a 12-inch vinyl record, but when I was slapping that mixtape together, I didn't have time to go find it, get it shipped out. No, I just found the tiniest piece of loop I could steal, and yeah, man, good stuff.
So can you tell us about your journey into making music and what's inspired you to make music?
What inspired me to make music? You know, there was so many things, and you know, it started out with just loving music first. Like I didn't even look at it as something I could do right away, but it was just something where I found like I really enjoy this energy. And you know, it started with old music videos. I remember like MC Hammer's "You Can't Touch This" and Vanilla Ice, Ice Baby. When those would pop on the TV, my mom would say, "Come on, Mike, come in the living room. It's on the TV." And you know, I never learned the dance moves, but like that was like the early progression of that. And then my dad always had this amazing collection. He still has his 8-track tapes, his old cassettes and stuff. And I, you know, so it was almost like in
8 tracks.
Yes. Yeah. And matter of fact, it's not on the shelf anymore. I finally gave back his 8-track of Rush's 2112.
Hell yeah.
I was holding it hostage because it felt cool to have one 8-track on the CD rack. And you know, so it was always ingrained in me, like it just looked cool. Like there was some kind of respect of just seeing Dad's collection around the house. And so like my parents were totally in full support of like, yeah, you need to start your own collection. So I had a mini record player as a kid, and then eventually I had the tape player. Matter of fact, I still have my first tape, dude. It was the Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack.
That would be your first cassette
1989,
tape.
right? So like when people always ask, well, what was your first tape? And I usually think about Naughty by Nature's 1993, but that was the first like artist album. But when the Ghostbusters came out, I wasn't thinking about artists. I just like, oh, these songs were in the movie. And like all these rap guys did a rap version of the Ghostbusters theme song. So as I replayed this cassette going to see the new movie last weekend.
How was that?
Dude, I freaking loved it. It was totally connected from the last one, but they also used the number of years in between them for everybody's age gap. So like, you know,
okay.
The son's 18 now, the daughter's 15. So perfect. So like if you love the originals, it's going to touch you right here. That's the heart, not the nipple. So I bust this out on the way down. We're jamming the old Ghostbusters 2 soundtrack. And I've thought about this a lot over the last few years because, you know, everybody knows the Run DMC jams on there, but you also got Bobby Brown on there. There's like 3 Bobby Brown songs, and they're all freaking dope energy, fantastic. Right. But then the best one on here, Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew, they do that spirit. Some people fear it. Some people fear it.
I didn't know they
Some people
did
just
that.
won't come near it.
Yeah, yo, I didn't know they did that one. Dougie Fresh has always been one of my favorites.
Oh, dude. And like, so it hit me. I'm like, oh my God. Like since 89, the universe was like, Mike, hip hop, Mike.
Yeah.
You know? And then the second cassette I really owned came years later. And you probably can't even read this one because it's got so much age on it, but that's Naughty by Nature's 1993.
You can see it. You can see it.
So we jumped from 89 to 93. So that's why I really give this one a little more credit, because Ghostbusters showed me like the love and the energy in music, but Naughty by Nature brought me into that magic of like, you could find that one artist that has a whole story. You know, we're riding the whole story. We're not just downloading singles. And we're not skipping songs either, unless you want to hit the fast forward button
and then hear, and
then you might fuck the tape up. So
right,
the tapes was all about letting it play. So like, so there's a big jump there. So I put a lot of credit on those two, and then it was like, oh, I always wanted a drum set, and my parents were always like, no, that's too loud for the house.
That's loud as shit.
But like, I want to say when I was like 5 or 6, they got me like the little kid's guitar. It really it had real strings, and there was a microphone, and that was phase one.
Those are like starter guitars, right? Like they have them that are for kids, but they have the actual strings and everything.
Well, it was real strings on a complete toy. So this wasn't even a starter guitar. This was like the Kmart guitar, and it was just the early beginning of like I'd have a friend come over and we would take like, all right, you take the guitar, I'm gonna take the microphone, and we're gonna storm out into the living room and try to like impress the adults. You know, we're gonna put on a show, and we didn't have any idea of like lyrics and stuff, so it was just strumming and going, and then running back in the bedroom like, oh, I think that was cool. I think we did it, and how it progressed from there further, you know, I'd have to thank like poetry and more music, because that when then you see it on paper and then you start thinking, oh, that's just words on paper. I think I can do that. So it's a lot of these moments of like looking at something and say, oh, I think I can do that.
Right.
And then you take that step and try. And then somewhere along the line I found some $20 software I could put on the old family computer. I think it was called Hip Hop EJ, and it was just loops that were like already pre-calculated, pre-cut.
Okay,
so you drag these squares in. So ultimately, every single song ended up sounding the same.
Yeah,
you could change the tempo, but that was like the beginning of like, oh shit, I'm actually like making my own beat, and I'm not just like trying to download instrumentals and rap over them. I like sort of kind of piece this together, and it just kept growing and kept growing. And there's something about it that like I could never just leave it. I could never just walk away from it.
I always say that, like, even if I never got anything out of it, bro, I love it. I love making music.
Even just there's every now and then I'll just sit on the drum set and I
have an electronic one, right? So it doesn't make as much noise.
No, it's the loud motherfucker. Okay. First thing I did when I moved out of the parents' house was like, I need a drum set. Yo,
I'm gonna put my nutsack all over your drum set.
And it I remember thinking like, all right, now's the time.
Yeah, once you have that this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm in my own spot. You can't tell me no.
And yeah, my drum set is this beautiful Frankenstein of 2 sets, and then recently cymbals were donated to us. But the first set came from like an old bass player that I bumped into. And he was like, oh, we got the old set. It's just in the basement. Like, dude, $20 and you can take it. And I'm like, oh, dude, yeah, I'll be right down. And when, showed up, started bullshitting, like thinking back on it now, I think dude was like, forget the money. Cause like, I know it's going to you. And but some hardware was missing. So here's where it gets even cooler. Carver Cross had the other half of the drum set that I needed. So it was two sets
shit.
Frankenstein together. And I was just getting No Carver Cross in the old Home Depot days in like 2009. And the drum set was born. But a couple weeks ago, a dude, Chrome, I don't know if you've started following Chrome yet, but you would love his production, man. He's a wild dude.
I haven't heard Chrome. I'm just getting like Cartoon and them just put me onto a few people too. So
well, me and Chrome connected because of the Judgment Night soundtrack. I don't know if you remember that. That's where they took Helmet and House of Pain, put them together. They took
I kind of remember that.
Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill, put them in. So we like, because I had made a positive comment about that, like that was sort of got a conversation rolling, and we did a couple things together, and I convinced him to say yes to us doing Judgment Night Part 2. All right.
Oh, shit.
So we're slowly gathering like bands and stuff to we're gonna do it the right way. But you know, that's a whole different story. But Chrome's got another album working on. He's a producer, total maestro, and he sent it to a couple of us and was like, "Look, I'm just looking for some notes. Like I know this is missing here, this is missing there. This one I want some live drums on." So I'm going through these notes and I'm giving it like the full deep listen. And when I got to the track where he said live drums, I'm like, you know what? I switched everything off and I cranked the volume up on the big speakers. I sat on the drum set and I drummed through the whole song. And then I got to the end of it and I hit pause. And it was like this out of body experience. I turned the music off and I just went on the drum set and I was just playing a rhythm.
Yeah.
And I even started throwing in like some weird chants into it where I was just trying to like do like that yoga background music.
Yeah.
Dude, this went on for over an hour. And like I finally got to the end of it and I just felt like I came out of a spa treatment or something. I felt alive. And
those are the best songs, to be honest.
Dude, and I wasn't even trying to make a song. Like I said, I played through his song, I got the feel for it, turned it off. I was just in this weird zone of like, I want to just drum. And I didn't even realize it went on for an hour. It was a out of body. It was a religious experience on the drum set. And like, you know, so there's parts of music I could leave behind, but I would always have to jump on the drum set once in a while. And it's almost like shocking your system.
Yeah. I wanted to try to play the drums, but then, you know, I got into other things, so I never started playing drums.
You're never too old.
Oh, listen, I always say my two favorite, like some of my favorite wrestlers, DDP, he didn't make it big until he was our age. This man was 36 and he got famous. And there's a wrestler.
I love that dude.
He's great. And then there's another wrestler right now. I don't know if you know him because I know you're not super current in wrestling, but LA Knight, he's just now making it big and he's like 40 something.
Dude.
And he's finally reaching his shit, getting his fucking notoriety. You know what I mean? I feel like them two, if anything, that's the story they tell is fucking, you ain't never too old to do what you love.
Yeah. And it's also a reminder of like, don't ever give up, because like, if you do make that decision to quit, like you might have just missed the big change by like a day.
Yeah. Like he was a jobber in the other wrestling things. LA Knight, like he was just getting pinned left and right. He was just some guy. And then now he's that guy. Like he's at WrestleMania this year on one of the biggest matches.
Yeah. Speaking of DDP, I just seen recently, who was the dude he helped? I think it was Butterbean. You remember Butterbean?
Yeah.
So Butterbean's health had gone like so far downhill. The doctors were like, we can't operate. We can't. Well, they were going to do like a hip replacement or something. Basically, he had all the experts telling him, no, we can't do nothing. And DDP came in with like the yoga and this other stuff, and they got dude walking again. They gave that dude his life back, and I was like, I knew
out here killing it,
dude. That's like I'm bald, and that story had the hair standing up on the back of my head, and I was like, yo, like I knew like DDP was doing the yoga thing for years, and like here he was showing like his yoga stuff in the right doses. Gave Butterbean a second chance. And, you know, plus, you know, the yoga part that hit home for me because Mrs. Tech's been doing the yoga. she's doing the sound healing and stuff. So like I now like I see the DDP yoga and I'm like, yeah, he took it seriously. He didn't just do it as a joke. So yeah, it fucking DDP, man.
So with the messages going on and all that good stuff with DDP, are there any messages that you try to convey through your music?
I think like I try to talk about the sober living, but I never want it to sound preachy. I always want it to sound more like hey man, you can do this. You can do this. And it's tricky. There's a lot of times I'm writing something and I'll scrap it because I'm like, nah, that sounds too much like I'm like jamming it down somebody's throat.
Yeah.
And see, I just know that method never works for me. Like
With
anything that's like so anything that's ever been jammed at me, like no. And that even went for stuff that like I ended up like thinking was awesome 10, 20 years later, but like because it felt like somebody was trying to jam it through my ears at one point, I was just like, no, fuck you. 20 years later, you find it on your own. So like for like 10, 20 years, people have been trying to say that Nickelback sucks. And I was like, kind of listen. And then you stumble on a Nickelback record and every song is good. And you're like, oh shit, what? That was fake news.
Yeah,
Nickelback rocks.
I do that with a lot of artists, to be honest. When they're like, I wasn't fucking with any of the speed rap for a while because everybody was doing it and it was getting jammed down my throat, like Yellow Wolf, Ritz. Like I wasn't fucking with them at first because I was just like, I'm over it. Everybody's doing this. And then like 5 years later, something like that, I listened to it. I'm like, wait, this is the truth.
Ooh, yeah, like you said with the universe, man. Yeah. Sometimes it's just not the right time. So it hits you at that right time and you get that, ooh. The Jeff Goldblum, oh. Yeah. Chaos theory, life will find a way.
Everybody does impressions. Chris had me on a Gilbert Gottfried kick the other day. He kept talking to me like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yo, that was one I could never do, but always loved to hear, man. Like you heard that guy pop up on a TV show or a cartoon, and you were just like, "Oh, it's gonna be funny."
His voice was like you knew it was him. Like it didn't matter. Like you didn't have to look through the credits. You knew it was that guy.
Dude, he even had a good cameo in House Party 3. You remember that one?
I never watched the third one like that. I think maybe like once.
Ooh. So it was when the three kids from Immature were getting off the plane and they were scamming the airline for money.
Yeah.
So they go up to the thing to report that their luggage is stolen. Who's the guy at the counter? Gilbert Gottfried. And he's like, oh, here's what you do. You write down the socks, $1 million, and we'll get back to you real soon. And that's they ended up getting some party money for it by the end of the movie.
But I think you almost have a voice like that too, because I put on any song, and if you pop up, my lady's like, "That's Mike Tech."
Yeah, that's good. It's good, like I never felt like I had a standout voice. I always felt like I had that wallflower back of the room blended in voice. But I'm hearing that
like poop. Like if there's like a poop rhyme in there or something to do with like buttholes,
burritos,
yeah,
hot waffles, yeah. And the more and more that people are like, "Oh, dude, I knew that was you," and it's like, yeah, it's a good feeling because I didn't even know I was doing something right, and it turns out I've been doing the right thing all along. Because saying stuff about poop and butts is just that's tech, and that's to me that's dinner.
Species.
Ooh, Halloween ritual. I went nuts on some peanut butter eggs yesterday. They were the generic bootleg stuff, but I didn't get diarrhea.
Before we get into the next question, I always tell people that about I was like, yo, Mike gets on my Halloween ritual track every year. Like he's always on that monster track. And then you hear everybody like they're like, oh, demonic satanic fucking bullshit. And then Mike comes up like, I got my bag of Reese's Pieces. Like everybody talking about an actual ritual, and he's like, nah, bitch, I'm eating my Reese's Pieces.
let me be the one guy that flips the ritual upside down.
Yeah.
Because a ritual could be like, the type of popcorn you sit down with to watch a movie at home.
Isn't that how you got fucking Todd on the track? Because he was like, I don't know if I could do this because fucking everybody's a little crazy on it. And you were like, dude, a ritual can be damn near anything.
And I even I said like wait till you hear what I did. I'm talking about Reese's peanut butter, man.
Right.
Oh, all right, yeah, okay.
And I think a lot of people, I think that stands out more than anything too, because everybody's like all this dark entity type shit, and then you're like, nah, fuck that, bro. Here
comes the Saturday morning cartoon character in the middle. I loved being that guy. It was an honor to be that cornball. I
love it. You never disappoint when it comes to those verses.
I think if anything, it almost encourages you to be like, all right, I'm gonna go as dark as fucking possible and see if this butthole can make Reese's peanut butter sound normal after my verse. Fucking bet.
So speaking of rituals, how do you approach your songwriting progress, and do you have any rituals or routines beforehand?
Ooh. Yo, I honestly want to get a routine going where I actually like maybe smudge the room with some the Palo Santos wood, then burn it and let it, so that way you just put good energy into the room. But not
got
yet.
A few of those.
Yeah, the Mrs. Tex always got that, and the
we got sage, we got a lot of that kind
we got the big bundle of sage.
Yeah.
And but no, I haven't brought that into the music room yet, and I think I do, because I've almost had like a weird blockage, because usually my routine was just like I'd get something in my head, whether like a melody or I'd get a couple of lines, a couple of words that were sounding hooky, and I would just come in and grab the piano and just fool around. And usually when the energy is really good, within like 15-20 minutes I've got the melody that I wanted, or something really close to what was in my head. So it comes from both directions. Like sometimes I'm hearing melody first. There's so many other times I'm at work driving around the yard truck, and words will just hit my brain. And so I try
in my brain at the worst time sometimes.
And it used to be like, oh, I got to write these down real quick before I lose them. But now I've been on this spree of like, okay, let me work out the phrase. Let me work out the two lines in my head. And then let me keep driving around the work truck for an hour. Let me let this phrase in my head for an hour.
Yeah.
Whatever I remember after that hour is the stuff that's going to stick.
Yeah.
And it was some like songwriting dude that said, even if you're in a band, the band should try this for their writing sessions. Like, don't write anything for an hour, just throw ideas out. And even freestyle, we'll jam the riff over and over again. You just throw words out, whatever we remember at that last hour. And he said, here's the whole point of that. You guys were just throwing them words around for an hour, and this is the parts you remembered. So when you get to play this song for somebody, they're just going to hear 3 minutes. Now there's a better chance that you put that kind of energy in there where there's something in the song they're going to remember.
Right.
And dude, it's fucking worked. Like some of the coolest hooks I've written, it was that method where I just fucking gibberish for an hour.
I'm the worst at hooks, bro. I'm the worst at writing hooks.
I feel the same way. I think that the us guys, if you really care about the music, you probably feel like you suck at, because I'm the same way. I feel like I suck at hooks, and I'll put so much pressure on the hook that it like the song won't get touched for a day.
I feel like that's the base of the song. You know what I mean? I feel like I try to start with the hook first.
Yes.
But the only time I didn't is when Chris had I just did something this morning for my album with Chris, and I'm sending it over to Enoch, and I literally didn't like. I get a lot of my shit from like the RZA, you know what I mean, and like
Digi.
I hear certain people on things, and I couldn't hear myself in the hook. You know what I mean? Like I tried this, like I had a hook, and I was like, yo, I don't hear myself on this at all. Like this is not where I belong on the hook. So I asked Chris if he could do it, and he goes, "You think I belong on the hook?" I was like, "Your voice is what I'm hearing when I spit the fucking hook." like with your spooky voice, and then do like some high pitch, like almost like how he does his funny trap shit.
Ooh, so a little bit of that froggy, and then a little bit of the high pitch. And
Yeah, and it that's what it sounded like it needed. And sometimes, I'd rather have somebody else do the hook because I can't think of shit. I'm just like, I can't do this.
and it's cool because that brings a whole different energy into the song too. Like, it's not just a whole album of just your voice. You get that other guy on, and I mean, even if you go back in the history and look at so many of our favorite albums, and you'll hear like, oh, they had a hook guy, or sometimes they just had a no-name person come in and sing, and you're like, oh, who the fuck?
Thuggish Ruggish Bone. I don't think anybody knows that girl.
Yep.
I don't think anybody knows that girl.
Perfect example.
Like can you name that girl?
No.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got the CD. I wonder if it's in the booklet.
I don't know if it was, because I remember there was some controversy on that they said like they paid her like $400 for the hook or something to do the hook, and then they didn't credit her or nothing like that because she was just a random
like a studio musician. Yeah,
and they didn't know if she was gonna fucking actually be on the hook. They just wanted her to sing it to see if it would fit well.
That's a whole other world of music stuff too. Is the studio musicians? Sometimes they're union guys, and they're paid like an hourly rate. And man, these cats, they're all heavy hitters. Like they come in, they can play anything you throw at them, whether you hand them sheet music or whether you're just like, oh, I want a tune that's like da 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 da. And
like orchestra type fucking musicians and shit.
Well, sometimes it's a guitar player that, like, we need guitar today, so get the studio musician, and you just get a guy with his hourly rate. He's in the union, and like I know in like the 50s and the 60s, there was a lot of cases, like you said, with these guys because they were paid that regular ass studio rate, they didn't get their name on the album anywhere, and and
it kind of sucks, but like at the same time, you knew what you signed up for.
Yeah, it is one of those like dirty little parts of the industry,
right?
And come to find out, a lot of like the great records that came from the 60s and the 70s, the band didn't even play. It was all studio musicians.
Real?
Yeah, a lot of the big hits, man. The shit blew my mind. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh, hold on.
Look at that. Look at that.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, he almost got a sale out of me, but he had put a fucking pentagram on there.
Yeah, I know. I knew that was it. It's like, yeah, that's not the one.
I love that design. You take that pentagram off.
You know what you could, bro? Just put some black duct tape over it. just boom.
Pow.
But so speaking of that, and what are your biggest musical influences, both hip hop and outside the genre of hip hop?
Beautiful question. So I tapped on a couple of them early with the Naughty by Nature. That was definitely the first rap group that I was like, dude, the stuff that Tretch can do with words.
It's crazy that you say that, because I felt like growing up, because being mixed, my mom listened to the hip hop, my dad listened to like the metal and shit like that. But like Naughty by Nature and Wu-Tang, I always grew up listening to them. Those were the two ones that were always. You never really hear people say Naughty by Nature. So like when you was giving them they fucking flowers earlier, I was just like, yep. Like, yep.
It's some of that Mike Tech stuff starts to make sense. Like,
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Naughty by Nature, the Run DMC stuff. Also, shortly after Naughty by Nature, what was it? Green Day's Dookie. That was like 94. So Green Day's Dookie was such an important album. shortly after that was Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style. And I remember it was just like maybe like a week or two apart getting those two cassettes.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't think anything of it, like, because nobody was saying like, "Oh, you're only allowed to listen to rock, or you can listen to, you're not allowed to listen to both, man." You know, like there was like sort of this weird thing going on with like the kids in the world, and
we didn't give a shit.
Like 94, I would have been 9 years. So I was 9 years old, like finding Green Day's Dookie, and then Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style, and listening to those back and forth. And it wasn't long after that Offspring's Smash, like, dude, you gotta keep them separated.
I love Offspring. Offspring's
dude.
a guilty pleasure for me, bro. Like, I fuck with them heavy. Like,
that whole Smash album was fantastic.
That's a front to back album for sure.
Absolutely. Oh, dude, I got to see those guys live in 2018, and man, hell of a show.
I'm kind
hell
of
of a show. You're about to get more jealous. I'll give you the whole lineup. Gym Class Heroes opened.
All right.
Here it's 2018. Nobody's heard from Gym Class Heroes in years. Gym Class Heroes opens. Offspring plays in the middle. 311 headlines.
I mean, I figured you'd be on a 311 show.
That was that was the magical day that I did the meet and greet with them. And here I'm thinking like, oh, I'm probably gonna be standing in a line with like 20 other people. That was the one stop that only one person bought the backstage fucking VIP. So
Really?
like, yeah. So I'm standing in this spot where like the tour manager like calls and he's like, "I'll meet over by this fence. There's a flag," and I'm standing there and I'm like, I don't think I'm in the right spot. I'm the only person standing here. All of a sudden, this dude walks up with the headset and he's like, "Are you Mike?" And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, meet and greet." And he's, "Come on through." And dude, fucking meeting 311, dude.
Listen, that I would love to see them live. They've always been, it's like one of those things. I found them on myself though, but I found them completely by myself. It was actually an accident. Do you remember when CD stores just had like their discount bin and you would go through the CDs and just pick a random CD with the cover?
Like, let me find the $5 CD.
Yeah, and that's what it was with 311. Like I saw the name and it was the one with Amber on it.
Ooh, amber is the color of your energy from Chaos.
Right. And I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna grab this. It was like $5 or something like that. And then,
it was a cool cover. It was kind of a psychedelic looking. Like I remember that package was like, oh, this looks cool.
So
311's back.
Right. I grabbed it and I put it in and I was like, yep, that I fucking love them.
That's the album that opens up with that heavy riff, and then you get work. Jun, jun, jun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that one. Oh, so where we were going, we're at the Offspring. Jeez, I want to say, Kid and Play because of House Party.
Oh, I couldn't tell that any of your style is based off Kid and Play.
And you know what's so funny is like, it was so hard to find their albums around because I found them a little late. Like the cartoon was already on, and House Party 1 and 2 was done, and their albums were hard to find. So I was always like, anytime we'd see a weird record store somewhere, I'd like beg my parents, like, can we stop? Like, I need to go look in this mom and pop place that's in this back alley. And
we have one down here that sells cassettes and fucking records and shit. It's super dope.
I love those places.
Right.
So to this day, I ended up having to get them on iTunes, the Kid and Play albums. But what I did find by stopping at every one of those stores was all 3 soundtracks. So
those are just equally as good though.
There's a crap load of Kid and Play on there, and when you couldn't find a Kid and Play out, that was the next best thing. And so heavy Kid and Play influence was like in there, and it was weird that I found them later. Like I didn't find them when the movies were popping. I found them a little bit later, and then you mentioned the 311. I remember the music video for was it Down and All Mixed Up? You don't know what to do. And even then, like I think by that time I was like 3rd grade, and I remember there was kids in class arguing and like, no, I don't like the one guy's voice. Like if they would just kick him out of the band. And I was just like, no, I liked hearing both voices. and that was the Blue album in like 96. So so you get into 311. There was a lot of Green Day. So a lot of Green Day. Then as being a Pennsylvania dude, always loving like the Snoop and the Dre. So I was like,
that probably confused a lot of people,
right? Like, because again, it was the naivety of kids. Like, we were just kids, and like we knew we heard something, we liked it. There was so we didn't understand this West Coast, East Coast shit. I was a kid in Pennsylvania, and the Chronic was dope. Doggy Style was dope. The Dog Pound doing dog food was dope.
Dog Pound.
So like then that brings in like this weird West Coast influence to a lot of the other stuff I find. Wu-Tang was in the mix, and because Method Man took the W upside down and it was the M, and my name is Mike. Like, I was always like, oh, he took the W and made it an M. For like, it's like for me, like, all right, yeah, it's Method Man, but like
I have the Meth Lab on vinyl.
Ooh, that season 1, season 2.
That's the first one,
dude. He was doing something so special with that, where he was letting a lot of unknown people get heard. So each track was like throwing a different new voice on there.
He kind of did that when he did 3 too. He still had people that you didn't really see.
Yes, and dude, that whole trilogy, it started off awesome. And then it just kept getting better. Yeah. Thank you, Method Man.
He dropped something new recently, too. I didn't get to listen to it yet, but I've been seeing it.
We're due for some new Method Man. And then Redman finally let us know, like, there's an album coming. Like, it's not just me doing the mixtape stuff. There's an album coming. So, all right, bring it. I need some new Redman shit.
He always be saying, yeah, I'm a member of Wu-Tang. And I was like, I always like, even though like he was never really like officially, I always just put him in there. You know what I mean?
He was close. He was close enough.
So is there any other influences?
It just keeps on going, and
you could just keep going.
Really, yeah. So actually, where I left off, it wasn't long after that you ran into Korn. Then Korn came into it, and then Korn led you to All of Their Friends. So you're listening to Videodrome, you're checking out Orgy, and then Limp Bizkit is such a all right. We started off with the Wish.com Fred Durst thing. And this is a perfect time to do the interview, dude, because $3 Bill, y'all, the way I acquired that cassette, my parents got it for me as an Easter present in 97 when it came out. So
I think that's my favorite Limp Bizkit, to be honest. Like the raw and grungy sound.
It's so raw. Wes's guitar stuff is so rugged on that one. And it was actually 2 cassettes I got for Easter that year. It was Limp Bizkit's $3 Bill, y'all, and then the Smash Mouth Fush You Man. And dude, both of them, like, so now
I don't even know what to say about that Smash Mouth.
Yo, dude, that was Smash Mouth's best album.
Is that the one with Third Rock from Might As Well Be Walking on the Sun?
That's the one.
Yeah,
that's the one. And that one, like, I think that one was such a big hit was because it, like, to me, that song had a little bit of that Sublime energy. And then Sugar Ray even tapped into that. They even used the same producer that Sublime had worked with. David Kahn was the one that mixed.
I don't give a fuck. I love Sugar Ray.
Dude, Floored.
Right.
Floored. And then before Floored was the Lemonade and Brownies album, which was even more metal than Floored.
Yeah.
And they come out with the single for Fly, and it's this like reggae kind of vibe. The drums are a little hip hoppy. So you're like, ooh, I want to get that album. And you get the Sugar Ray album. And the rest of it is like this weird, like heavy rock, almost new metal rock. Like Fly was like that one song on there that like even Mark McGrath to this day is like, Fly wasn't even on there. It didn't belong on there.
I feel like they got a little too high.
Yo,
I just want to fly.
He recently admitted in a video when one of the other band members handed him the lyrics, and he's hearing the song and he's looking at the lyrics, and he said, I set the lyrics down and said, if this is what we're doing, I fucking quit. So, before even recording that song, Mark was ready to quit. She was like, and he said he made a phone call to one of his buddies, and he was like, dude, I I don't like where we're at right here. And like, if this, I think I'm just going to come home. And he said, the dude was like, you know, what are you going to do if you come home? And he said, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, well, what are you going to come home and work at Del Taco? And he was like, fuck. So he said, somewhere along the line, he was like, I'm just going to do it. Whatever happens, happens. And I'm glad it happened because I still love that song, man. And I love the fact that the rest of the album doesn't even match it. Like,
No.
That Stand and Deliver is probably my favorite on it. Stand and Deliver, Snap. What was it? Tap, twist, snap, tap.
And it's funny
twist,
because I feel like
snap.
you're one of the few that will hear Sugar Ray's name, you know what I mean, and know that they weren't just the Fly Guys.
Yeah, they weren't the every morning there's a headline. You know, that really wasn't them. And so it's a cool thing. Look at how all this is just piecing together. DJ Homicide was the DJ in Sugar Ray, which that was how I discovered the Alcoholics. So even though I
love the Alcoholics,
so even though I'm 6 years deep in the sober life, dude, I still love the Alcoholics. You know, when they did that Only When I'm Drunk, that bass line, that don't. I
don't even smoke weed, but I still listen to old school Cottonmouth Kings.
Dude, I still love that stuff. Yeah. That they have just a hell of a California energy. So there's another influence that slides in. And yeah, dude, I'm just right next to me over here is a rack that's over 2,000 CDs. It's all your story about 311. That's my story for the Great Malenko.
So you just stumbled into ICP?
Circuit City, long before Circuit City went out of business. This was when Circuit City was getting rid of cassettes. So if you remember that phase of record stores where, you know, cassettes started to disappear. So Circuit City had the big bin, and had the big sign that was like all cassettes are $4.99. And I was there with a couple buddies, and they're all like, CDs are for the winners, cassettes are for losers. And I was like, fuck you guys. Those CDs are $20 a piece. Those CDs are $20 a piece. I'm going to hear at least 4 albums today. You guys are going to get 1 CD. So I'm taking, you know, that Great Malenko cassette, you know, it had the reflective foil cover, and it was just
Which
plain
one'd you
black.
get? Which one'd you get?
The silver purple.
Okay, yeah.
And then so then they had the full wraparound J card. So you couldn't see the whole cassette, but from the side you could see it was a purple tape, like, you know, Raekwon. You know, so now you're like, ooh, there's a foil cover with this crazy clown genie. I don't know what this thing is. You read the side and you're like,
Ghostface. By the way, that was Ghostface.
Ooh, that's right. That was.
I was gonna let it fly, but I was like, my ass can't let that fly right now. I was like, wait, no, that's Ghostface.
And but you see that, and then the name, Insane Clown Posse, and then the title, The Great Malenko, and I'm like, so all of these things, and then it's only $5. And matter of fact, like, I was so blown away at how cool that was. I don't even think I grabbed any other cassettes that day. I think I just took that one for $5 and was like, I got to check this out.
Oh, look, a shiny.
And that was like historical moment right there of like, oh wow, like that was kind of a moment where I like, and still at this time I wasn't ever even thinking about making music. I was just loving music. I'm just collecting it, trying to find all the cool shit. And that finding that album at that time and then hearing it, and you know, it's on tape, so I'm not skipping nothing. That was one of those albums that really just gave me this feeling of like, yo, I found where I'm supposed to be. Like, this is my kind of people, man. There's weird slapstick jokes. They're talking about nuts and buttholes.
Right.
There's this horror movie energy into it, and they love cheap soda. Like, I gotta find
this fucking game shows on this motherfucker.
Yeah, and dude, like, well, and you lived out in the area for a little bit out here, so you might remember our Kmart used to have every flavor of Faygo.
Yep.
So I'm hearing them talk about Faygo, and I'm like, oh shit, yo, that's the soda that's $1.99 for a 12-pack at Kmart.
When I was out there, Kmart was just closing down, so they had like a
Oh.
final sale, but they had all their Fagos still on the fucking wall, and I was like, "Oh, it's a sale." I was like, "Fuck anything else."
Dude, nobody's got Fago out here anymore. Like the Dollar Tree. The
What
Dollar
about
Tree.
that fucking why can't I think of that fucking gas station, bro?
Sheets.
Yeah.
Yo, here's what Sheets did, man. It basically they took their Sheets label and slapped it on Fago.
Fuck,
And
because that's where I
like-
used to get my Fago with Sheets.
Yeah, that was like, all right, I can go. Like, I can't get a 12-pack of the cans, but I can get a couple bottles. And Carver Cross was the one that saved me the trip. That I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna hit up Sheets, man. I'm craving Fago, and he's like, good luck. And I was like,
Don't
good
tell
luck.
me this. Don't tell me this.
And he was like, yeah, dude, they don't have Fago anymore. It just says Sheets now, and it kind of looks like they stole the logo. Like, it almost looks like they sort of made a deal where they were like, hey, we still want your affordable liquid sugar. We don't want your Fago name. We don't want your face painted motherfucking followers up in the store no more.
You know what's funny about how I found ICP? I might be one of one. Like, you know that I'm huge into wrestling. You can see all them wrestling action figures back
I
there.
had you pegged. I just assumed you found them through wrestling.
Yeah, yep. That's when
So that's why you and Carver get along, because you and Carver got that wrestling
Yeah.
background, because he found them through the wrestling too.
when I first seen them in when they were rolling with the oddities and like WWF and
Yeah.
shit like that.
That was the coolest freaking crew Ever. in the wrestling. Like,
That's how I found out about them. It was WWE The Music Volume 3 had the theme song. And then when that song came on, I was like, everyone come to the greatest show. Gather up all juggalos and roll. I was like, I feel like I need to find more of this.
oh,
I was like,
dude.
I need to find more of this nonsense. So like I went out to Borders. Remember Borders? Y'all still
yeah,
have
loved
Borders?
it. It's Books a Million now.
Yeah, it's the
So
cheaper.
it's still
Borders.
Books. It still has that same the book smell. Love
Yeah.
that book smell.
But I went there and I had bought the Amazing Jucker Brothers and fucking I think it was the Riddle Box. But it's always been in my life. Like my dad was a juggalo before I knew what the fuck it was. But he'd play it in the car, like Ringmaster and shit like that. But I didn't really know. And then like when I started watching him on wrestling, he was like, you know that chicken hunting song? I went, yeah. He goes, that's those guys.
That's the guy.
I was like, oh shit. So like he let me find them by myself. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't pushing them on me or nothing, but it's always been in my life ever since I can remember.
I like that. That's beautiful, man. Because that was one of those things for me. Like, I'm listening to the music and I hadn't watched wrestling in a long time, and I remember like somebody else was like, I had the tape and they're like, you know, those guys are wrestling now, right? And I was like, wait a minute, hold on a second. The guys that did the Hocus Pocus Jokers ride, come take a swing on the. They're in the ring. Turn it on.
Yeah, let's watch it.
and that was a beautiful moment of like, even that was this weird realization of like, because nobody else was doing that at that time.
No.
Nobody else was like, oh, I got this amazing album out that like Disney spent $1 million on and then gave it to Def Jam.
wrestle. Let me go
I'm gonna-
wrestle.
I'm gonna go wrestle on fucking Monday Night Raw, fucking painted up,
Right.
no fucks given, and everybody knows I'm the guy that raps about balls and butthole jokes.
And they
And-
loved them. They
and it-
loved them.
And it like it was just such a cool of like, and again it was like, so first I find the music and it makes me feel like at home. Then they go from the music to doing wrestling too, and I'm like, yo, these guys are literally showing us that we could do whatever the hell we want to do as long as we go out and do the work to get there. You could do any. So like, those guys have given us so many special moments.
And you know what's crazy? I hate on ICP these days so much, but at the end of the day, I have to give them their respect because I probably wouldn't know half the motherfuckers I know because of them. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't. They're the main reason I started rapping. You know what I mean? There's first reason, like I always liked Wu-Tang and all that, but I was like, there's no way that white boys are going to be in this game. Like white boys with my attitude. I was like, the Beastie Boys, they're a different breed. Like
they were almost like rock, but it was still rap.
Yeah. So like I was still like, there's no way white boys can be in this game that think the shit that I think. And then when I heard ICP, I was like, there they are.
They opened the door.
I was like, there they are.
You know, and you know what, now that you said it, this circles all the way back to your question of what really got me into wanting to rap. And it was probably hearing those guys doing what they do, where it was like they had so many jokes. Like, yeah, sometimes they were serious and they were dark.
You do that too. You do that
so,
too.
Like, and honestly, that's probably years of listening to them
Yeah.
throw those jokes. You know, had my blinker on for an hour or more, and then she made her right into my side door.
I put a carrot in her butt, and that's our gang.
I think that might be one of the most legendary songs we've ever done. And
the crew was great. The crew, like me and Swagner don't talk, but I never disrespect Swagner. You know what I mean? Like we just don't see eye to eye, but I never have anything to say bad lyrically about him or him as a person. We just we are almost similar in the ways we think. That's why we butt heads so often.
It's like it's too much of the same energy.
Yeah, because when he's fuck you, I can be fuck you back, and that's but I'll say it to the day I die. I respect him and what he does. He's a good MC. I never disrespect him in any way.
He is a special dude.
Yeah, that song is fucking crazy.
And the beauty of it is like there's a lot of the world that hasn't even found it yet. And like to me, that's going to be one of those cult classics. Like, let's say it's 2024. Dude, in like 2034, we're gonna have to all get together and do like our own Forgotten Freshness fucking big album, and that's gonna be one of the songs on there.
I do that now with songs that I haven't released.
Oh, okay.
And they can't fit on albums. Like I'll be putting my album together, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't fit on this.
We'll put this on the compilation.
Yeah, so like, I put it out. You know what I mean? It's called Lost in Hell. Because
I've seen some of your. I thought for some reason I was thinking it was like Lost and Found, but now I do remember Lost in Hell, and that the one of the early graphics was like you walking through this like portal kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Or it was a cloud of smoke. I forget if it was a portal or a cloud of smoke, but I remember that shit. The shit looked dope.
But that's what I do as like my Forgotten Freshness. So like I'm sure it's going to be ended up on one of those. And every once in a while, I'll take an old song that I think people should hear again and put it on those albums.
Dude, those old songs are still new to ears that haven't found it yet, man. There's a lot of.
You were the wise man that told me that a while back.
and I can't even take full credit because I'm going to throw credit to Lamont Graves over at the Graves firm, who even was the first dude to tell me like, yo, you need publishing. So pick one, BMI or ASCAP, whichever one, pick one and run with it. And he was one of the ones that like always said, you know, you've
been rolling with that guy forever. I think as long as I've known you, you've thrown that guy out a bunch of times.
I think we kind of like, me and you kind of crossed paths around the same time that was all going on. And I was starting to learn the technical shit, which, dude, that shit keeps changing too. So it's like you're constantly, let me research this before I go register the new song.
Right. So, speaking of all that, can you share any memorable experiences or challenges you faced in your career so far as a hip hop artist?
Memorable experiences, man. I feel like it's like every time you meet the next fucking like great friend. So coming across you was a special moment, man, when we linked up, and because that was the beginning of like TikTok popping,
right?
And it was like we'll throw credit to King Keto because he was the first one that was like, yo, man, I see you got the Juggalo energy, you should come see this crew, the Strange JRB guys, and Keto led me right to you, and then we It wasn't long before we did like the Apathy remix track.
That was dope. Like that's literally we just filmed it in quarantine and fucking throw it out there. That shit was dope.
Yo, and it wasn't bad. Yo, and I edited that shit on a fucking phone.
Yeah.
I didn't put it on the computer to chop it up. I fucking did it on the phone.
Yeah.
So there was that. That was a special moment, and because you're a special fucking dude, man. And hey, that's the true sign of a special dude.
But I
Special
think,
dude would never think they're a special dude.
I mean, I came a long way too. You know what I mean? Like back when I was dissing everybody, like what I just said about Swinger. Did you picture me saying that fucking 6 months ago if I had any kind of problem with anybody?
I definitely I knew you wasn't gonna say it 6 months ago in the middle of it, but I was definitely the dude in the back rooting for like, you're gonna grow up.
Yeah.
You're gonna come back.
I've given you all the credit in interviews and shit like that about it. I'm like, he's the big part of like me fucking. He's always told me no, but I'm like the devil on my shoulders, like fucking do it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
and that's all part of the journey too. Like to me, you had to exercise through them steps to get to the last one that did what it did. And it was worth it. It was, we had, because the universe doesn't always give us the easy lesson. It's not always as easy as, oh, we're going to learn ABCs today. No, we're going to learn some really fucked up shit today.
Yeah.
The first time the universe comes along and is like, oh, you're going to learn what loss is today.
Right.
Dude, fuck, man. I'm not today. Can we not do this today?
Some other time.
So you were a special moment. Fucking meeting Todd when he was called Infinite. That was a special moment. And here's the funny thing. Like Todd and I first linked up. I was still at Home Depot, and
I made sure I called him Todd when I was speaking about him because I know he did the switch. So I wanted to shout him out and not say the other name, but you use both, so that's respectable.
Because I knew him for so long as just Infinite, and then when he came along and was like, oh, I want to switch it to Todd Taylor, and then I was like, now I got to go and fix out the songs that are released. And when
it's funny, it was so much easier for me than it was you. I don't understand why.
I don't even know. Like I thought I was following all the right steps, and all of a sudden, all the Mike Tech songs with Todd Taylor were attached to country singer-songwriter named Todd Taylor. And I was like, fuck. I was like, well, dude, it says your name, but look what page it goes to. Me and Todd have never actually been in the same room, and I've known him since that was 2009-ish.
Yeah.
I was just passing out CDs to the people I worked with at Home Depot that I'm like, oh, you like rap? Like, here, check this out. And his brother was the one dude that was like, yo, my brother Todd raps. And I was like, oh, pass him, get the email rolling. And it's
He's
just
another
funny.
motherfucker that I don't understand. Like, I don't think he applies himself like we apply ourselves. But even we don't apply ourselves the way we should.
But he is even less application.
Yeah, like he is super dope. He's super dope and underrated, bro. Like
so much talent in there. Like, and he's got like that. He's got a very specific voice. Like he's got a tone that you can't really latch it to anything specific. You just know that, like, he's got a different tone.
To me, his tone don't match his being. Like he looks like his tone definitely doesn't match him as a person.
No, and I don't know if it's because like I think me and you were some of the dudes that, like, we heard his verses for like a couple years before we ever seen a picture on social media, because he was always like social media hermit. So we've heard so much of the voice, and then you see a picture and you're like, oh shit,
motherfucker, that's you.
and then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? Motherfuckers probably look at me and go, oh, that's you.
I mean, like I stay saying with Enoch, it took me a few tries because of his voice. And I knew he didn't talk like that. You know what I mean? But I also didn't like Be Real at first. I didn't like Cypress Hill at first. I didn't like Eminem at first.
All right. So that makes sense to why, like, the first time I heard Enoch and because I love Cypress Hill.
Yeah.
Like right away, the first thing I was like, yo, dude, you sound like the fucking horrorcore Be Real from Cypress Hill. And you know what's funny is like we met on Instagram like years and years ago. It's probably around the same time me and you were first meeting. And he just happened to be one of these guys that was on Instagram that had the balls to just fucking cold call somebody and just like he'd see that you clicked or commented on like something, and he would be like so he just found me and was like, oh hey, you know, I seen you commented on like a ICP thing or something, and yo, you might like this. And so I remember at first I'm like, this motherfucker, I don't even know this motherfucker. You gonna send me a YouTube link? You want me to listen to your fucking me? And like it just happened to be, I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, I got the time. I'm gonna click on this. I'm probably gonna hate the shit out of it. I clicked on it and I was like, God damn, I like it.
Yeah.
And
I heard him on a few tune tracks, and then like that those were the songs that I heard first at Enoch, and I was kind of like, I don't know yet. You know what I mean? I was like, his flow's there, his lyrics are there, his lyrical fucking capability, it's all there. It's
the beat selection is there.
Yeah, everything's there. It's just I couldn't get over the voice at first. And then once I finally got over like his voice, I was like, yeah, he's my fucking favorite rapper.
and I love that he was sort of just like hidden in Michigan out there, because for years, once a week or once a month, oh hey, you know, we talked before, it's another YouTube link, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, all right, it's the horrorcore Be Real, I'll click on it. Hey, cool man, I like this one, good job, you know. And like we started like a little rapport there, and then years later I'm in this other chat group, and this fucking guy Godspeed he goes, oh yeah, I know this guy named Enoch. And shout out to Godspeed, because he doesn't get some of the flowers he deserves, but he's still got road ahead of him. He's with us.
He definitely needs to start taking the path that I've been taking lately. he needs to pick up that memo. I don't have a problem with him. Me and him talk, you know what I mean? But he still, I feel like because he's young, he still has some resentment towards me, even though we talked it all out. You know what I mean? But like he still tries to throw jabs at me and stuff like that. But I'm just like, bro, it's all fun and games with me. I'm not serious ever. Like I'm not that serious. Like if I'm saying something, I'm just playing. And then he just takes things a little too seriously, and like negatively. But I'm like, dude, it's all fun and games.
And you said it right there. It's with his age. So like I know he's gonna come around, and he's gonna probably shock all of us one of these days. And hopefully because he's got potential. He's got so much potential. So really, like he's really the dude to credit for Enoch coming the rest of the way into the circle, because he mentioned that name, and I'm like, yo, I know that fucking name. Like, yo, this guy's been messaging me on Instagram for like 2 years. Like,
you're the second person on this podcast that gave him his flowers. Because Enoch did it too, because he was like, if it wasn't for Godspeed, I wouldn't have known who Tune was.
Absolute, dude. It was so true. And like me and Enoch, like I said, he was sending YouTube videos, so I'm clicking on them, I'm liking them, but it was just still this weird thing to me because it was a cold call off of Instagram. Yeah. And then, you know, Godspeed bringing him in. So that is a big credit, like, because he brought that in, and then boom, like the energy that Cartoon and Enoch have together, like
it's stupid.
I think Conjoined was the first song they put out together. When they put that one out, I dropped the pen on Brostradamus, and I was like, yo, I think we got to scrap the whole album and rewrite the whole album, because guys just went so fucking hard on that one song that this album right here, I want to rewrite the whole thing. Like for real. And I told both of them that. I'm like, yo, you guys slammed so hard on that.
I wish that I could have fucking recorded my reaction, because like I heard that track so many times, and then because like all I play is my homies in my truck. You know what I mean? Like I don't play nothing else. It's always my homies that I'm playing on the way to work or on the way from work. And then I probably heard up to this day, in the past 3 days, I probably heard Conjoined like 9 times. And then I'm sitting on my lunch break and I heard Conjoined and I went, wait a minute, wait. Because I knew what they did, but I didn't see exactly what they did.
The puzzle pieces.
Yeah, like it was finally connected in my fucking brain, and I was like, I hit up Toot, and I was like, bro, I've been hearing this song for like days now, and I just realized what the fuck y'all did, and that shit goes hard as fuck, and like I was all the way amped, and Cartoon was like, he was like, yep. It is pretty genius. I was like,
yo,
how are you gonna come back with just calm as fuck like that? And I'm like all amped up.
You know what? I haven't asked either of those guys how they got there yet, but I have a feeling his reaction was that way because they were like, yo, what are we supposed to do on the hook for this one? I don't know. What do you think?
Cartoon came up with the idea.
Oh, okay. So they did already, because to me it was like one of those things where it was like, hey, stupid idea, but what if we took a line from mine, a line from yours? What if we just fucking did that, like fucking for 8 bars?
It was crazy because it was Cartoon's first fucking part of his first. I mean, Enoch's first, and then Cartoon's first part of the hook, and then it went to their second parts. I didn't realize it was like that.
Dude. and the fact, like. So, like, now think about this, man. You could put a million people together, you know, of the two pieces, and try to do that, and it wouldn't go as hard as their version went. Like, yo, the magic of that like drove me insane. Where I'm fucking proud of them dudes, like, because that was, to me, that was the universe saying, hey, this shit was meant to happen right here, and that's why that shit just fucking slapped so good.
So since we're talking about it, we are going to the segment of that Brandon fucking Swanger started.
Ooh, before we go into the Swanger segment, I also got to shout him out because you might remember I was on an extended hiatus.
Yeah.
And I was at a point where I was like, I don't even know if I want to come back to music. And for whatever reason, somebody said to Swanger, yo, reach out to Mike Tech. So I randomly get like a Facebook message. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And he's, oh, so-and-so, you know, told me you're a cool dude, juggalo, do the music. And I'm like, I used to. Like, I was so like anti-music at the time. I'm like, yeah, I used to. Like, maybe I'll get back into it. And all credit goes to him for me coming back to music, because I had spent the money on the MacBook. And then it came through, but I was still working that crazy COVID overtime where it was like 6 nights a week to where I was never home. And I was just like, fuck, like the universe pulled. So I'm trusting you. The universe pulled me away. So I look at it and I'm like, I was supposed to be on that hiatus, but Swanger was the one. And, we got to talking and it led to That's Living. And
do you know the Swanger segment?
I do. I've seen it on a couple. I believe the Swanger segment is. I'm
gonna title it that, even though we don't talk. That's where
we got to name 5 here, and then if we're super fans that we like producers, we got to pick 5 producers too.
No. Swanger segment is, I'm gonna name some rappers that we both know, or maybe we don't know, and then you tell me your honest opinion of that rapper, and that's because we kind of been doing that.
But we were already in it. Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna start off easy. And what you think about Cartoon?
Yo, he is a special dude, man. Because I was doing the sober rap stuff for a while, and like I was always like, man, I wish I could find more sober dudes. And all credit back to Swanger again on the Swanger segment. Swanger was the one that was like, yo, I'm listening to your shit. You're talking about being sober and like making it cool. You got to meet this Cartoon guy. And I'm like, oh, yeah. At first, I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, hey, man, you got me rapping again. I don't want to fucking meet people because you. So, like, again, the universe.
Some people suck. And
so, again, the universe is like throwing this dude at me. And I'm like, I'll get there. And, I'm scrolling on TikTok like weeks later. So it wasn't even like I went to look him up the next day. It was weeks later. And the F and intro open verse popped up. And that, it was that boom bap beat. And I was like, ooh, and I see the name, and I'm like, oh shit, this
That's
is the
guy.
guy. This is the guy. And so that was the beginning of it there. And it wasn't long after that like we connected off of like the sober journey. And I don't know, like there's just something special with that dude that I got
No
nothing
lie,
but
he helps me stay sober, like through his music too.
I love
Every
it.
time I smell certain smells, like I get triggered a little bit, I put on some tune, and I'm like, yeah, that's not it.
Now I want to abstain.
Yeah,
I love it, man. I love it. And you know, there really is something special to that dude, and nothing but love. Nothing
Anybody
but love.
that hates on him, I feel like needs to look into themselves.
Yeah, because it's
just
like
positive, and like he's just a positive ass dude.
like and unless you're just one of those butt pirates that's like, oh, face tattoos are lame. Like, okay, well, I mean, yeah, I don't have any, but like you're so judgy, you didn't even like say hi to the dude, shake his fucking hand, and have a conversation, and you're probably gonna be like, you know, I still don't like face tattoos, but you're a cool guy.
I have the babiest of the baby face tattoos.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
But all right, cartoon Bondurant. I got to do this one because this is, you know how you say and you and Toon say that y'all are from different dimensions.
Like we're
Like
like
you're the same person from different dimensions.
Yeah.
This is me and this guy. So what you think about Sir Thick Chris?
Ooh, I love that guy. Man, he is such a wizard. And like I thought I was like the dude with the most positive energy in the world. And you know, then I met Chris and I was like, you know, it was like challenge accepted. This guy might be more positive than me. And
y'all are like, you know how they say like fucking the Crocodile Hunter and like Bob Ross, those are like the top people for like positivity. Y'all are gonna be up there too.
Crikey. Well, I'm gonna jam my thumb in his ass and really piece him off. That's not a knife. Dude, I love Chris. And especially because like I mean, you know this, you're one of the guys in my pot of boiling water that get the occasional the fart voice message.
Yeah.
and it's always like a sniper sneak attack. Like it's either
I heard this beat. I think you'd be dope on it.
And it's almost like I kind of test the waters with people that way. And so anybody that's reacted like well to that is like somebody that stays closer in the circle. So if we can fart together, we're already like family. And he was like one of the first people that was like, okay, all right, payback's coming. And you know, it just like me, a fart sniper, he strike when you least expect it, and it was beautiful. Chris has, I don't know if you heard him fart yet. He's got some magical fucking fart.
I also haven't broke the fart barrier. I haven't broke the fart barrier on Messenger.
Yo, so here's something even cooler. With so like since you're one of the guys that experiences that, do you watch Rick and Morty? Are you all up to date with Rick and Morty?
Except for like the last season.
Oh, okay. So in this last season, there's an episode where Ice-T is a guest voice, and basically set up the scene. They're sort of doing an updated version of in Back to the Future when Marty gets up and plays the guitar. And then there's the guy that grabs the phone and was like, yo, remember I told you about that new sound we got to find? This is it. And he holds the phone out so you can hear what Marty's doing. So they're doing this in a music studio that's sort of our time and age. And the guy's got a cell phone and he's like, hey, man, remember I was telling you that I found that new sound that you was looking for? And you hear the guy go, yeah. Yo, well, check this out. And he puts the phone next to his butt. And he goes, and I see it. I'm like,
you.
And I was like, yo, I'm not the only one. It's not just me. Like, cause you know, I wasn't like, oh, they stole that from me. No, I was instantly like, there's more people like me out there that are, cause, and that was a total fart sniper. Totally. Right. He hits him with, yeah, I found that new sound, dude. Check it out. This is it.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like that clip was going around, and like Mrs. Tech knows she's caught me doing it, and she was like, "Really? You just who did you send that to?" That's one of my friends. One of your friends. Is that what friends do? I was like, well,
yes. You're just lucky you don't have the friends that I have. My best friend will just randomly send me his junk.
oh, see, I don't want photos. I want sounds.
Yeah, he'll randomly send me. He'll be like, "Hey, thinking of you," and just randomly send me his balls.
I do have an uncle. I don't believe he does this anymore, but years ago he used to take pictures of his shit. And like, hey, when you drop like a perfect catch,
Yeah.
wow, like and that was one of them funny things, like, because it's not junk, it's just shit. Like, I'm not sending a picture on my wiener, it's just shit. And but my uncle took it a step further, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I post on ratemyshit.com." They'd be like, "I put a good one up this morning. Could you vote for me?" And I'm like, "Ah."
I used to take poop selfies. That's like the closest thing that I've ever done.
A poop? What's it? Oh, in the shitter. Selfie? Like, you're on the shitter and you
just yeah. I used to send them to everybody.
Cute. Feeling cute. Feeling cute.
Held the toilet paper up like just pooping.
Oh.
There was a few back in my Waffle Shop Boy days when I was in a group called Waffle Shop Boys. We had a whole group.
I love that you were in that group, by the way. Because to me, that's keeping Twat Waffle relevant, that you were in it with the waffle in the title.
My boy heard Twat Waffle and he goes, "Man, if I still rapped, I would have killed that with y'all." And I'm like, "I know." But I used to do that shit all the time. We'd have a group when everybody would go promote, and I'd just be like, "Pooping at Waffle House."
Oh.
So let's move on. What you think about Official Hearst Boy?
Yeah, that is another special dude. Where
Frankenstein.
I think some of us in the circle like already see it. Like, I see that dude is destined for some greatness, and I tell him that very often, and he's like, "I'm glad you see it, because I don't know what you're talking about, but everybody's saying some shit like that, so maybe it's true." And there's just something so genuine and real, that, like, every word I've ever heard from him, like whether it's in a rap, whether we're just talking, like, he's shooting from the heart. He's not a cowboy shooting from the hip. He's shooting from the heart, and that genuine trueness. That's the thing that's going to float him higher and higher. As he's just got to keep on going. And
Chris has also said similar things in his interview about him. And
matter of fact, I'm in charge of the Frankenstein CD package. So wait till you see. Like, I sent the preliminary over to Hearst. And I thought it was done. I was like, boom, it's a fucking masterpiece. But he
like
pointed
the album cover?
Yeah, because we're gonna do it, CD package, just like the Brostradamus. We're gonna have the cool shit on the disc, cool shit under the disc, cool shit everywhere. Very Hearst Boy themed.
This is what I enjoyed. I'm not gonna lie. This is right there. You don't see that. You don't see that anymore, dog. And like, when I opened it up and I saw that I could do this to it, I was like, bro, I ain't had a fucking CD like that in
with
fucking
the
years.
With the extra flap.
And then, like, that's a mini poster. Like, if I wanted to, I could cut that bitch and put it up on my fucking wall.
And that was the other thing too, was like, we took all that extra space, and instead of jamming it with stuff, we just threw the logo up, the album name. And originally, we were kind of like, yo, should we leave the whole inside blank and just give the world this beautiful panoramic photo? Because that was a sunrise that I just happened to be outside in the right time.
That's an actual picture you took?
That's an iPhone fucking photo. You set it on panoramic mode where it has you fucking swirl like this. And I try to get out the front door and catch those sunrises whenever I fucking can.
I'm more of a sunset guy.
I like those too. I'd
Yeah.
see when I used to work the night shift, dude. I caught some crazy fucking photos of the sun going down. But Hearst, man, the official Hearst boy, that dude is destined for greatness and doesn't even know it. And yeah, definitely fucking continue to push that dude forward.
I'm gonna send Chris a picture right now.
Of my nuts. Yeah, the way you were leaning and holding the phone, I was like, I think he might actually the nuts.
I would I don't think that would be YouTube friendly. The YouTube would take that down. I think like so Hearst, right? When I told him about the Thick Chris interview and I was like, yeah, we talk about you a lot. He goes, because me and her stopped talking for a little bit, and he thought like he was waiting for a diss track to him because everybody calls me the diss king. So he was like,
I'm not getting along with this guy, so he hasn't talked to me. He's probably writing a fucking song.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So like that's how Hearst was looking at it for real. And I told him we were talking about him. He goes, man, I'm kind of nervous. So he's like, I don't know what you're about to say about me. I'm like, dog, you'd be surprised. Like, yeah, I think you think just because we stopped talking and we didn't agree on some shit, that means I'm gonna diss you. I was like, I hold you to a different respect than I do all these other rappers. I was like, just because we're friends first. We're friends before we're rap buddies. So like I held him to a different fucking standard than that. So I was just like, this is a disagreement. Whatever. We won't talk for a little while, and then I'm gonna hit him up like nothing happened because we're men and that's what we do. Like, and then
me man,
right.
me man, me go back to cave. Me think about your bad words.
So I just like, and in an interview, like me and Chris both were just like, yeah, that he's next. That guy is next. If he keeps doing what he's doing, we want to see, instead of him just being up there with Strange JRB, we want to see a Hearst boy set.
Oh.
No disrespect to fucking Strange JRB at all.
No, but
Like,
but Hearst has done all the work for he deserves a spotlight, man.
Yeah, I think he deserves his own set. Like, I don't have a problem with Strange JRB. I have a problem with that one guy that's in Strange JRB, but that's it.
and like you were saying about holding Hearst to a different standard just because he's a special dude, I kind of give him that same extra ducats for like a couple of reasons, man. And one of them off the jump is his knowledge and love of the Hearst, because I'm almost a cousin to that, because I've got the weird knowledge of the Cadillac ambulance, and yes, the cars are similar, but mine was fueled by Ghostbusters, you know. And the major difference that I always learned in these groups, because like for years I always wanted to get my own Ghostbusters car, and to this day I still say the first million I make off of successful music or successful business venture, the first million I'm buying my own Ghostbusters, and not just to have it like sitting parked, but so that motherfucker can be my daily driver, dude.
He doesn't like Ghostbusters at all. You can't see the poster behind him or anything.
And but so the biggest thing, like people in the car groups always said is
You got Fred Durst on the fucking podcast. That's sick.
Shout out, Chris.
Shout out. But yeah, so the difference between the Cadillac ambulance and the Hearst is they were already dead when they got in the Hearst. The Cadillac ambulance, a lot of people died in them. So there was so many car groups that were like, yeah, I think my Cadillac, the ambulance is haunted, but like the Hearst, they were already at peace when the body was traveling to, you know.
Right.
So I always like, that's something that always stuck into my head. And so, you know, when I finally meet the dude that's putting Hearst boy as his name, I'm like, oh dude, like I feel, you know, I felt like we had a car connection with the two cars there.
But he's in that group like you, Toon, Chris, my buddy AJ. Like, we can have disagreements, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna write a fucking song.
Yeah, it's totally human to like we're not supposed to agree on everything.
Shit would be weird if everybody was the same person.
we'd just be probably walking around with an inside out butthole or something.
You'd be me and Swanger. Try to get along for a little bit because we know that we're cool people, but it don't work out right. So what you think about, do you fuck with J Flow at all?
I do. He had actually reached out to me way back and was like, oh, like I got this song, and I was, he was talking about like a price tag, and I was like, oh, dude, fucking, you're part of the crew. Like, I got you. Like,
Yeah.
I got you. And he was like, really? Like, I'm like, yeah, dude, fucking like, but if and I've put this up to everybody, like, but if the song's ass, I'm out.
Yeah.
But like, it's gotta be kind of cool. So, oh, okay. And
It's just like Cartoon does the same for me, but I told Cartoon I know that the money's gonna make you move faster. So when I need you to get something like this, I'm gonna just send you $100.
yeah, and I tell you what, like, and again, I don't like to throw prices on stuff, but like there has been a couple times where I'm like, look, dude, if this is really important, like throw $20 on it or something, because like then I'm gonna feel
time. Like I ain't got the time either. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna feel compelled though. If you throw down like a 20, I'm like, okay, fuck, all right, there's something on the line here. But yeah, no, I like J Flow is a very talented dude, and he's honing that skill. He's honing that skill. Every time I hear it, it's getting better. And I think the first one I did was me, him, and Tune, and it was Dark Thoughts. And they already, like, both the verses were done, the hook was done. Like, so when I came in and I'm like, oh shit, like these guys fucking slaughtered this. Like, fuck, dude. Like, damn, like I said free, and now I gotta bring like my A game. I was
right.
said free, and I was hoping like I could do like a C+ for you. And I just came in. Yeah, I was trying to just do some shit that was simple and sounded dope, and I wasn't allowed to. Like I wouldn't allow myself to. Just I pressed play and went, fuck. These guys slammed on this. I can't fall asleep at the wheel. But I see him. He's making the right moves. He's making the right progressions. And he's just got good attitude. I see good energy in that dude. And
I talked to him with Toon's brother. Me and Toon's brother fuck with him in a group chat, and he has his negative moments, but like everybody does. You know what I mean? But he's not projecting his negativity on nobody. He's not having a good day.
He lives, yeah.
Like he's just not having a good time. You know what I mean? And like that's cool as long as you're not trying to fucking fuck with anybody else's attitude. But J Flow is definitely dope. My favorite song right now, because I haven't peeped the Darkness collabos yet, is I fucking love Backroads. I don't know if you've heard that yet.
Backroads is a good jam.
Yeah, that's a good
vibe.
One.
That's a vibe.
I told him, I'm like, you're gonna be one of those every rappers, dog, because he's got a dubstep album coming out.
Dude. when he told me, like, because we were supposed to work on something else, and like I was just waiting for him to come through with whatever beat he wanted to be on. And I was like, hey, what's up with that thing? And he's like, oh, I'm on to something else. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And he's like, you think you could do dubstep? And I was like, oh shit. Like the first thing that came to mind is like I'm thinking of like Skrillex, and I'm thinking of the Korn album that Korn went dubstep.
Right.
And
when he was like J Dub or whatever the fuck he was.
And I was like, all right, fucking I can probably rap on. Yeah, fucking. So dude, I'm excited for that, because dubstep like came in, flooded the airwaves, and then disappeared.
I think people who rap over dubstep beats, I love rappers who can do that.
Dude,
he's gonna send me something. He told me that for that album, and I was like, I'm amped, because like there's like one or two songs where I rapped over dubstep, and I didn't continue it just because like I didn't find any more beats that were like that. But I know that it's produced by Chris, so I know it's gonna be fucking dope.
Yeah. There is nothing that guy can't do.
Bro, I said Zombies from Staten Island. He said, hold my fucking drink.
Yeah, yeah. Like you hit me with that first, and I'm like, I don't like when you didn't even say Zombies from Staten Island. You sent me the Rob Zombie track, and I was like, I don't know. Like I have, and for me, it was like I have such a love for zombies. The two White Zombie albums I have, and then Hellbilly Deluxe,
Yeah.
and the jam that came after that, and it was like, man, I hold such a special place in my ears for that music. I don't think I could touch that sound. I don't think I.
And I'm gonna give you your flowers while you're on here, because if it wasn't for you, I don't think me and Chris would be making this album. That wouldn't have introduced the conversation.
Yeah, because right as I'm trying to say, like, if I do this, it's gonna sound like ass. You first thing you said was, who do you think could? And I like it right away. I was like, I've never seen Chris say no to anything, and like he's like fucking Neil Patrick Harris in How I Met Your Mother. Oh, challenge accepted.
Yeah,
throw the weirdest shit out. Challenge accepted.
And he's got the beats that I have now are boom bap, but it has like the skits and like the little samples of like a horror thing, so like zombie-esque in it, but it's still boom bap. You know what I mean? And I was like, bro, this is dope. This is gonna be a great album.
You already got my heart and my ears tuned in and ready.
You act like you're gonna be not on it.
Even if I wasn't invited on it, I just can't wait to hear it because Chris, he like a lot of the stuff he does for everybody, nobody's really asking for boom bap from Chris, and that was effing intro. That was boom bap.
Yeah.
So that was me hearing Chris boom bap. That was what pulled me in, and I'm looking forward to more Chris boom bap.
I will send you when he mixes. Because he's a little backed up right now because he was sick. When he finally mixes my song from the album, I'll send you a copy so you can hear it because it's it's amazing.
I'm excited for that album. For real.
Me too. Chris already made me sound like I'm fucking sexy.
Ooh. And then J Flow. Since you said you didn't listen to the Darkness collabos yet.
Not yet.
I am on Spiderwebs, and that
I heard Spiderwebs.
Okay, so you did that was another one where it was all wrapped up, and I just had to do my part. And again, I'm like, fuck, like, dude, he went in, he rocked on the look at, and with the stank face,
right?
The stank face on it, and it was another one of those things where I'm like, shit, I gotta go as hard as possible, and it wasn't just everything that J Flow did, but it was the beat too. Like, and I'm pretty sure that was a Chris beat.
Are you sure? Because your name's not on this one. It says Don Relic.
There's two Spiderwebs. I was the Spiderwebs remix.
Oh, okay. Oh, so since his name got brought up, what would you think about Don Relic? You can do what Chris did, and if you have a problem with anybody, also you could just say nope next.
I'll tell you what, man. Don Relic has really good taste in comic book, man. I can talk comic books with that dude till there's no end. And he actually put me on to some shit that I didn't. Let me see if I can reach over and grab this. I didn't even know this shit existed. And he sent me like a picture, and he was like, "Oh, it's called Weapon Brown." And so, oh wow, look! If you turn that sideways, that's Charlie Brown's T-shirt stripe. So what it is this crazy artist that kind of has the So this dude took all the old Sunday morning cartoons and turned them into like crazy Spawn-esque sort of artwork.
Okay.
And Weapon Brown is Charlie Brown. And
I have a song called Charlie Brown that I want to do a music video for.
Woo. So yeah, dude's got really good taste in comic books. I know he's a big Spawn fan, and that's what I know about that dude.
That's perfect. So what you think about Let me try to think of another one. We already kind of touched Swanger, right? Like we don't have to do that one.
I did. Did you touch Swang? I didn't touch Swang. You
Fuck.
touched him?
I walked head first into that motherfucker.
We unofficially talked about Swanger, and that kind of led to the Swanger segment.
Yeah.
But we can make it more official.
All right, so Brandon Swissanger.
Yeah, dude, yeah, that's a special dude right there, and I love that he will never fucking half step or bullshit you, like, so he's like, I love to go to him and be like, yo, like, I need you to check this out and like give me your opinion, and if it's ass, he's, yo, that's straight ass, that's 100%, you know, like, so he's like the best like fact checker.
You
know,
this good? Nope.
Oh, yo, that's great, but you could have done, you know. And dude, I totally like he was really that thing that brought me back to making music when he threw the beat at me for that ended up being the song That's Living. At that time, I was just like, I'd let the universe drag me into so much overtime at my job that I wasn't doing any fun. There was no time for fun.
I remember
music was out, and I don't even remember how it all happened. It was very organic of like, you know, well, hey, just check this beat out, and I heard that beat and I was like, damn, like this is a sound I've been trying to nail, and this is it. But we had no lyrics, we had no song idea, and really it was the work schedule that influenced, because that whole song was like talking about how like everything might be really shitty, but you know, you might have a shitty job, but that's living.
Yeah,
at least I'm living. And that was a situation where we had the beat and we didn't know what to do with it. I'm walking the dogs one day, I don't even have the phone on me, but the beat's in my head. And that hook came to me as I'm just walking the dog. I'm getting ready to pick up some dog shit in the bag. And the first couple lines of the hook come to me, and I'm like, ooh, okay. So I'm waiting for the dogs to turn around and go back to the house because I want to write this down. So I'm just running it through my head. And yeah, I laid it down. And I think I did a verse. Hey, man, we got a dog licking. And I had no idea how he was going to react to it. But I was just like, it fits. It sounds dope. Sent it over, and that was history. That was like, okay,
I'm ready. Start a night shift.
You know what? We didn't even plan a group yet. It was just like, we got to do more songs.
Yeah.
The night shift idea came later on, but that whole thing came out of like, we both spent like over a decade working night shifts.
Yeah.
And so that was like, me and him we had so many parallels of like the same kind of work, the same shitty shifts, the same stuff going on. That it was like, you know, I put that to the universe of like, the universe lined all that up. And cause I really was like, I don't even know if I want to do this music shit no more.
I think I've done that a few times. I think I've said that to you a few times.
Yeah. Or I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna record these 25 songs and I'm gonna take a break. And then like 6 hours later, I recorded an extra 25 songs. Like, yo, dude, it's only been 6 hours. I know. I'm gonna take a break.
You know what's funny? It's I was taking these brain gummies at the time, and I was like, yeah. So like
the alpha brain type stuff.
Yeah, it's the Walmart version, but it's the same shit, and way less expensive. And that's what got me. Like, I was like, dude, I can't do this music anymore. And I started taking those, and I was like, wait a minute. And that's when I started freestyling half my shit. Like, I didn't even have to write nothing down. Like, I had what I was going to talk about in like certain bars that I had written already, but most of it was like just freestyle.
That I remember when you told me, you were like, oh, dude, like the last like 20 songs I didn't write. And I was like, wait, what?
What? Now I mix it up. Like I have the hook. I usually write the hook, and then like there's certain
Couple.
lines, but most of them are just freestyle too. Like I'll go off the couple lines.
Damn. That's crazy. And even when you had first told me that, I was like, yo, like instantly I was like, the last like fucking 12 he sent over were insane. And now he's telling me he didn't even write nothing.
I didn't write nothing.
Good
Who the
Lord.
fuck is King Cutter? I didn't write anything for that. That whole album, I didn't write a fucking thing. But so what about Zach Tier? Me and Zach don't talk no more
Zach
either.
Tier. I like that dude. He seems like he's got a strong work ethic, and he's just like, I'm gonna do it no matter what. For how many times I've come up to a point of been like, I think I'm gonna quit or I'm gonna take a break. I get the impression that like there's nothing that could get that dude to take a break. And
he's hungry. I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's hungry, and I think if you just keep on plugging, and eventually that plug's gonna hit the right outlet.
Do you know Holden, his boy?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of his little video clips. What I remembered right away was dude had some wild hair. Like yo, if I see somebody with some wild hair, like being a bald dude for how long I've been bald, like I see wild hair and I appreciate it. I'm always like, oh
right,
shit.
Right.
That dude buys expensive hair conditioner.
That's secretly why you're friends with Cartoon.
I see his hair is fabulous.
That's why I take super pride in my beard. I can grow the fuck out my beard, and there's product in it every day. I try to take care of it.
I tried to let the beard get a little wild at one point, and every time I tried it wings right out, and it does this crazy.
You need to get some shit and then comb that bitch, bro.
Is that what it? Because it goes right to this like Amish Abraham Lincoln thing.
Yeah, you got to tame it. Because mine did that same shit, but mine's a little more nappy than like
under
most
control.
People's.
See, I always wanted
my shit did wing out, but I always put product in it, and
I wanted my shit to wing out like Wolverine style.
I mean that's not terrible either,
right? Like, and so that's what I was trying to make happen, and like what. It was as I was in the process of just letting it grow so it could do something. That's when everybody was like, "You look like Amish Abraham Lincoln," and I'm like, "No, I'm going for like we're trying to do like a Wolverine thing."
Abraham Durst.
Yeah.
But Holden, I think Holden in his genre, I think that he's the next guy to blow up big in his genre.
Oh, dude,
that pop punk shit. Or like that rock shit, he's fantastic. I call him the White Nate Dogg because at first I had a song called "Same Shit, Different Day," and I sang the hook and I was like, "Wait a minute!" And I hit up Holden. I was like, "Hey, you want to do this hook?" And at first he was supposed to just do the hook, and then I told him, "Go wild, do the verse, do the hook, do whatever." And then he sang that whole thing, and it was fucking fabulous.
Zach actually reached out to me and Tune, and he hit us with this rock track, and he said, I think it's Scott Holden doing the hook, and so I haven't heard anything in a minute. Like they sent me the track without vocals, and like I heard the music, and I was like, yo.
AJ is, speaking of rock, AJ is supposed to be working on something for you tonight. He's going to be I told him you probably wouldn't get to it till your next time you can. And I was like, he's going to send it to me. I'm going to do my part, and then we're going to send it off to you for the Kings of Rage album.
I know what I'm going to be working on next Monday. But yeah, so I like both of them dudes, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they're going to do for that, because the song already sounds amazing. It's some rock type shit. It's new metal-y, so it's right up. Yeah. It's pulling on all my heartstrings with the new metal kind of sound. And I'm just waiting to hear that hook, man.
He was my first interview, I believe. I think
Ooh.
Holden was my first interview when I started doing this. I asked him to do it, and he was the first one. Zach was supposed to get on, but our schedules never met, and then we don't talk. So I'll still have him on. I don't give a fuck. I told King Wicked to get on the podcast, say his side of the story.
Speaking of Holden, every time I hear that name, and I'm pretty sure you were in the chat group when it popped up, but somebody kept saying my homie Holden. And I was like the first one that was like, yo, is his last name D's Nuts?
Yeah. If anybody, like, there's no reason to diss Holden, but I feel like that would be the thing they would have to say if they ever dissed Holden.
Only thing he's holding is D's Nuts.
So let's move on. Speaking of new metal, because, you know, I might have talked to a little birdie. Do you have any up and coming projects?
Dude, there's so many. There's like, and it's like I threw too many ideas out at the same time, and I want to do them all. So, but like,
and then everybody at the same time was like, yes,
right? Like, so I threw all these ideas out, expecting like 5 no's and 2 yeses, and I ended up with like 8 yeses, and with like the math doesn't even add up. So wait a minute,
it's not.
Wait,
mathing.
there should have only been 7. There's 8. Fuck, man. But Chris is cooking up some fucking wild new metal-y stuff. Very West Borlandy, very Dursty. And
he asked me to be a part of it, and I went. I pulled the Chris. I pulled the Chris because whenever I ask him to do something, he's like, "Yes, that's $1 million." So I was talking to him. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be on the album, but that's going to cost you about $3 million for every bar that I spit."
per bar. Yeah. Oh, dude. Like, and that was like one of the first. Like, we already knew what we wanted it to sound like, and then he was like, "Yo, who else should we put on here?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, like, absolutely, all the usual suspects. Like, fuck trying to get any like big names on this. Let's just grab all the homies."
Yeah,
and
I feel like even like Cartoon, I feel like that's a big enough name for me. You know what I mean? Like he's getting out there, he's got fans. You know, at the moment, I'm not looking for all these features.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking for fun projects, and like that's exactly what this Thick Chris Mike Tech new metal. This is just gonna be fucking total fun. And that's not even the only fucking new metal thing that's cooking.
I told him I'm probably gonna come in like Method Man on a new metal track though on Limp Bizkit.
well, shit, dude. If you remember, before Loud Records disappeared in like 2001, they did Loud Rocks.
Yeah, that shit was fucking insane.
Yeah, you had System of a Down and Wu-Tang redoing Shane.
Tom Morello and fucking Wu-Tang ain't nothing to
for
fuck
Wu-Tang
with.
Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, dude. Yeah. So like, you know, right up that kind of alley of like, it's gotta be fun. The homie Misery Code, he's got a lot, dude. He did
the Brostradamus album, right?
He did like 4 different joints on there. 3 remixes and then 1 original. And dude, he's got some wildly like he's got some like dream come true type shit happening right now, and that's kind of part of the reason why you're not seeing him post a lot. And even when he finally hit me with the news, I was like, bro, like do that, like the rest of us are gonna be here when you got time to fucking do that thing.
Do that thing.
And it's like, so when he's ready to share that with the world, like I can't wait for the rest of the world to know what he's got going on there. But me and him keep talking about
so I found out through him because of y'all.
Yeah, and me and him, we met strangely through when I was doing the fun fact of the day.
Yeah.
And what it was when Jay Gordon from Orgy played guitars on a House of Pain remix in 1994. And this was before Orgy was even put together. Like Jay Gordon was just playing guitar. He was already friends with Josh Abraham, who went on to produce for Orgy. But like a lot of people didn't know this, because if you didn't buy House of Pain's 3rd album or the EP that actually had the remix on it, So like that EP is out of print, fucking impossible to find. It's called Legend. So if you ever see House of Pain, Legend sitting some, and it's like 5 songs, 6 songs. It's a short EP. Grab that shit, dude. It is hard to find. They didn't even put that shit on iTunes.
That's
so
crazy.
It is ultra rare. And but so they had this rock and roll remix of the song called Legend, which you can find a rough version of the old music video on YouTube to see. Like, oh shit, this song is awesome. And yo, now that you said Jay Gordon, I can hear that is Jay Gordon guitar in 1994. So I did fun fact of the day. In 1994, Jay Gordon from Orgy played guitars on a House of Pain remix. Not only did that like get me introduced to Misery Code, but Jay Gordon himself, the fucking official blue check account, followed me because even he was like, he seen that fun fact and then like sent me a message and was like, I didn't think anybody actually still knew that. and he was like, how did you even know? And I was like, oh dude, the fucking liner notes, man. I'm a total music nerd. You read enough liner notes, you find these hidden eggs.
I used to do the same shit. I haven't read liner notes in fucking years. Now I'm gonna go read the Brostradamus ones.
There's a couple little Easter eggs hidden in there. Nothing as great as what they used to hide in albums. And that's kind of what it is so many albums now, the liner notes, it's just, or like they don't even put the credits in there. You'll open up the book.
It's usually just this.
And on the inside it'll say, go to our website for production credits and writers credits. Like, dude, no, I didn't buy the CD so that I can go to your website. I bought the CD so I could have a fucking record of who did what on the album.
Right. See, now you got me looking.
He's deep thinking here. And that's you went straight to the thank yous.
I did. Because I feel like I've seen this before. I'm trying to go straight to the thank yous.
And mine's like so much long. Mine was even longer than that. I had to trim it down so that it could all fit and like not look too small.
Like shit.
And that was like, so when the CDs finally came in, like Mrs. Tech was the first one. I'm like, yo, check this out. And then I was like, look under the CD. And she's reading it. And then she finally got to where I name dropped her. And she was like, you mentioned me. And I was like, yeah, like, you might not think it, but like, yeah, you are part of this whole thing. Like you put up with my process for it.
My lady's the same way. She deals with all my bullshit. Like one time I had an interview. Dude couldn't do it till like 9 my time. He's on West Coast time.
Ooh.
And she was fucking tired, but she's like, no, go do your thing. She's like, go do that. She goes, it seems to be going really well. That's something you need to do. And like, I didn't even want to do it. I was so tired, but she was like, no, get your ass up and go do the fucking interview.
Dude, they have been dope, man.
So besides the new metal project, anything else?
Oh yeah. So I was sliding into the Misery Code stuff. So me and him, we keep spitballing this trap metal idea. That's going to be me and him, and again, bringing in all the homies.
Hey, that's what we're doing with me and AJ. That's what we are.
It's like
as
that
Kings
trap
of
metal.
Rage, that trap metal shit.
Yeah, dude, that stuff. And then like, so, but he's got like a million ideas going around, and I kind of told him the same thing. Like people keep telling me is go back to the heart and find the heart in it. Like when you feel like you're not making the right shit, and he was like, "Yo, I'm listening to my heart. I think I want to go back to like my own stuff." And I'm like, dude, I want to hear, like, I've been telling him for a while, like, I want to hear the Misery Code solo album. Yeah. Because I know what direction that's going to go in. So there's those going on. There's going to be an album called the Archangel Green Ranger. And then I'm going to have an album.
It's not the Green Ranger, but you see that, right?
It's still Tommy.
Yeah.
Still Tommy. I've got the green one and the pink one way up over there. But there's so much stuff in the way. So we're gonna do the Archangel Green Ranger finally, And then I want to do another album called Wish.com Freddie D. And
so no copyright infringements.
And that was exactly like originally I was like, we're gonna call it, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't know if I could put his name in the album title without getting an approval. An approval might have a fee with it, but if I just say Freddie D, I'm kind of bending the rules a little. And honestly, the goal with that was like I wanted to get super biscuity sounding, and that might be what me and Chris are doing. So I don't know if Wish.com Freddie D is still going to happen, or maybe what's going to happen with the Wish.com Freddie D album is I'm going to try and conjure up that DJ Lethal kind of sound, like when Lethal produced the majority of the first Coca Nostra album.
I forgot he did that.
That like that first album was mostly him. The second album, I think he only had like 4 beats. But the first album was like 90% him. And man, like I listened to that album first. And then when I read the notes and I'm like, yo, this was mostly Lethal. Like, yo, Lethal fucking slammed on this.
Lethal's a beast, bro.
And he's still at it. Like another beautiful story of he went from House of Pain to then he got this second life with Limp Bizkit. And then gets a third life when La Coca Nostra comes together in 2009. And that whole lot.
Everlast, House of Pain, you know what I mean? So I felt like he had to be involved somehow.
And like La Coca Nostra, I remember before that came out, I was like, man, like Everlast is crushing it. DJ Lethal never gave up. Danny Boy's doing his own thing. We need a House of Pain reunion. And like, as I'm thinking that, it was the MySpace era. I'm starting to like, let me look for these guys on MySpace, see what they're doing. And Everlast pops up and the logo just says La Coca Nostra. And I'm like, oh shit, what's that? DJ Lethal, La Coca Nostra. Danny Boy O'Connor, La Coca Nostra. So everybody, then there's 2 more. Who the fuck is Slain? Who the hell's Ill Bill? It's like, damn.
You didn't know Ill Bill?
In 2009, when these guys all came together, I did not know Ill Bill yet. Like I was like still Juggalo, new metal, and
because Ill Bill and Slain, I knew them before La Coca Nostra. You know what I mean?
All right.
So like when they came together, I was like, this is fucking amazing,
dude. So I can't. So there was that side of it, the people that knew them, and then there was the House of Pain guys that were like, when are these guys going to get back together, man? They fucking broke up in 96 after a cool ass tour. Fuck.
And it's funny because I didn't know who Danny Boy was like that either. I didn't know he was a part of House of Pain until like later on in life.
Dude, so that was such a fantastic, a brand you can trust. What a beautiful fucking perfect album of that raw, nasty hip hop. And
I'm an American. I need a blowjob and a pizza.
Yo, and like the fact they got Snoop Dogg to come through on that album. They had Be Real, like
right,
dude, and like fuck, man, that album. And at the same time, like I look at it as like that was as close as we're getting to. Technically, that was a House of Pain reunion, but we threw 2 extra badass MCs into the mix.
To me, it was like because Ill Bill. Have you heard of Necro?
Yep. They're brothers, right?
Yeah. So I was listening to Necro for years, since like 2003. And Ill Bill was a huge part of like him and Necro. They did a whole bunch of albums together and stuff like that.
And that led into the nonfiction.
Yep. And then Mr. Hyde and all that. But then when I heard Ill Bill was a part of La Coca Nostra, I was like, I was excited, but also skeptic because like how is
this gonna work?
Right. Like how is he gonna mix well with these other MCs? Because like Slane's a little different, you know what I mean? Everlast's a little different. Like none of them are the same fucking type of sound. Like they're all on their different levels. And it came out fucking gold.
What a fucking melting pot that was.
Because Ill Bill, like I think they called that gore hop back in the day.
Yeah. Yo, and Bill and Necro are finally doing an actual full team up album called Blood Brothers.
They did one before too.
Did they do one already?
I think it was the Brutality Part 1. I think what
Ooh.
I think it was more of a mixtape where they had songs together, but it was like Ill Bill, Necro, Necro, Ill Bill, then Necro and Ill Bill. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. It wasn't. So, yeah, so this is like official. Each
Yeah,
song
yeah.
is both of
Both of
them.
them.
Blood Brothers.
I seen something like that, and I was just like, I didn't hear from Necro in like fucking forever, and then I saw that, and I was like, yep, this is gonna be fire.
Yeah, like I feel like the last time was when Necro teamed up with Cool G Rap. And I feel like that was 2010, 2012. I don't know. Like that
It
was a
something
long
like
ass
that.
time ago.
It was a while back. I didn't even know he's still doing shit. Then I saw the Blood Brothers thing, and I was like, okay, sold.
And even that, the first like I'm always I see people promoting stuff and I'm like, okay, well, is it a single or is it an album?
Yeah.
Like that's what I need to know that info. Oh, it's just a single. Okay, I'm gonna check it out, but I'm an album guy.
Yeah.
So especially when you see like they just put like two names and you're like, oh shit, these two guys teamed up. Wait, is it a song or is it an album? Because if it's an album, it's way cooler than the song. Matter of fact, speaking of crazy team ups, Roscos, the OG, fully produced by Havoc from Mobb Deep. And then it's also got, what's his name? RJ Payne. So RJ Payne and Roscos are doing all the bars. Havoc produced.
Your knowledge for music is fucking crazy.
I stumble on the shit.
The names you drop too, like it fucks me up because like I grew up listening to that. Not like I'll forget that. Like me and Chris talked about this the other day.
This fucking Fred Durst wannabe. How does he know Roscos?
If it's not in my face, I'm gonna forget about it. You know what I mean? So like Roscos, like I forgot he was a thing, and he was like I used to bump him all the time back in the day. And you just said that. The thing that stepped out to me the most is when he was on the Aggression album, the WWE, where they did the theme song.
Oh, he was rappers. On that?
Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, shit. Yo, I didn't even know he was on that.
I think it was Stone Cold if I'm thinking right.
Ooh.
I know Method Man was The Rock.
Ooh. Ooh. Dude, I didn't even know about this particular album.
I think you would enjoy it because, you know, the hip hopness in that shit is fucking real. Like they got some heavy hitters on that one.
I'm probably one of the few dudes that's ready to hear a little bit more John Cena.
I was trying to contemplate what you just said.
Motherfucker, please.
He wasn't a bad rapper, bro. I actually was I was gonna meet him for the signing of his album.
Dude, that would have been pretty fucking dope.
Do you remember Strawberries back in the day? Did y'all ever have a Strawberries?
No.
Strawberries was the fucking record store for anything. And in Boston, they had a 5-story fucking Strawberries where one floor was one genre, the other floor was next.
Damn. And dude, I miss when record stores were that big.
Bro, it was crazy. Like, because this was the one you'd want to go to because this is where you find the raw shit, the shit that you can't find at the other store.
The hard to find shit.
Yeah. So I was going there to meet John Cena, but that was also the day of like, I believe some kind of catastrophic fucking event in Boston. Like one of these fucking things. And he didn't end up flying in because of everything that was going on. So
so you were like, you were close. You were close.
And I was literally going to get his rap album signed. Like I wasn't going there because of wrestling. I was going there to get his fucking.
I had the rap album.
He's good. I don't hate him. Who produced that fucking album? Oh, what the fuck is his name?
What was it like? One dude produced the whole thing, or was it like a collection of random beats? Because I never had the album. I just always liked that. Like, because I remember my brother was doing it. Was like, oh, that guy like actually raps and stuff. I was like, really? Like, and at the time, I was like, well, that makes sense because we had these clowns that did fucking rap, and they came in and wrestled. So like, yeah, this wrestler could probably rap too.
I fucking forgot who it was. It was a few, but he was the main guy who put it together, and he's done shit for like fucking a lot of the hip hop heads that we listen to.
And Google ain't turning up.
No, because it's not the name that it says John Cena in the trademark for everything. But that was him and his group. You know what I mean? And I can't fucking find it. John Cena, the time is now. Okay, hold on. We might be onto something with this right here. Produced by Chaos and Order. That's not who the fuck. It was a guy that was in Chaos and Order, and it's not bringing up his name at all. You know, when in doubt, I always go to TikTok. Are you doing the same thing?
I'm looking at Wikipedia.
Because that's where I first seen it. With somebody talking about it there.
Yo, check this out, man.
Jake won.
You haven't seen his rap album?
Jake won.
He sold over 1 million copies.
Was it?
At least his main theme song, "The Time Is Now."
Yeah. I can't. So it was on TikTok when I saw the video, and I forget who it was.
Oh shit! Yo, Todd Spadafore was one of the executive producers. That dude was part of the fucking Czarkeys for all the Czarface albums with Esoteric.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what it was. That's what it was.
Todd Spadafore.
Yeah, it was that's what it was. The dude who fucking did the Cesar fucking albums. Esoteric's a fucking animal.
Yo, he's one of my favorites. Like, especially when I found out how he loves his dogs and he takes care of dogs and shit. I was like, yo, like this dude. And then come
My
to find
uncle
out,
has a song with Esoteric.
Kurt.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Music just in my family.
but the dogs, and then the fact that Eso is gluten free.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah,
you part-time gluten free.
Yeah, I'm part time. Like I splurge when I can't get caught eating it. And like 10, 15 years ago, Eso had posted something, like somebody had shared a cake and it was like a superhero cake. And they tagged Eso, and I was like, "Oh, dope! Ooh, yeah! I like the name already. But somebody tagged the superhero cake, and they tagged Esoteric, and so I commented, and I was like, "Yo, that would be dope if you could do it gluten free, though." And he actually hit me with a response and was like, "You're gluten free," and I was like, "I'm not." But my wife is, so like I know I can't cross contaminate. So like, PB&J, I can't touch the bread and then go back in the jar. She's gonna get sick.
Right.
And he was like, "Yo, that's so wild. Like, there's so many people that don't understand the gluten free." And that was I haven't talked to him in like 10 years, but it was still cool that like gluten free was enough of a thing that it caught his attention. And he was like, "Yo, I do need that superhero cake gluten free, man."
So, are you ever thinking about returning for Thirsty Thursdays and maybe recording them early, like I do with the podcast?
Dude. I never thought about like recording them early. I have been trying to figure out like a time slot to come back and do them live, and honestly, it's looking like if I can get a bunch of other shit taken care of in the next like couple weeks, I can come back to Thursdays and do so I want to. Let me just put that. I
love those because that's like when you was cooking up beats and like talking shit and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like the process of everything. I love that shit.
And the whole goal was just to make a beat, make one song. So it's a song a week. I do want to get back to that. And I want to do it in a way where like the original way was like do 10 weeks, 10 songs, put the album out. Now I kind of want to do it where it's a little bit more random. Like I'm not planning what I'm going to do with the beat. So like if somebody wants it really bad, all right, we'll talk about it. Or like as I'm making them, if I know like, oh, this is mine. I gotta keep, I want to like, I don't know. I'm trying to sort out the details of like, how the fuck do I do this? And so, yeah, dude, that is totally up in the air. And
how I know it's a Mike Tech beat? You hear the
the
coffee. You hear the coffee pouring.
Yo, like, because everybody's got a tag that's like, my name, and I was like, I don't want to just be another guy that every song starts with Mike Tech Beats.
Right.
And so I took this layer.
Are you dissing Chris right now?
I'm not, man. Because like, I believe he actually has Zitro saying it, which
yeah, he does.
That's all right. That's grown and sexy right there. I'm
sorry. Somebody else saying
like at first I was just like, it is what it is. But then I found I'm like, oh, you actually got Zitro to do that. Like, that's actually like that puts it, that's hot. But like, I just didn't want to be another. Like, I was like, I want to do something different. I want to do something different. And
that's definitely you. Like, I don't know if you drink coffee as much, but that was definitely you.
Dude, we were on that coffee grind hard. Yeah. I still have at least 1 cup a day, and then there's a lot of days where I catch myself reaching pee-pee. Yo, man, you could fart on camera, dude. Oh, he's gonna show me his coffee. Yo, it's probably Cafe Bustelo. Yeah, I can see that's not the family size jug, that's the fiesta size jug. The party size. Yo, dude, no other coffee compares to it. And then if you actually, like, I've grown up over the last like 10, 15 years.
You knew I was getting Bustelo, didn't you?
I did. Like, when you go back to edit the video, like while you're off camera, I'm like, what's it? And I'm like, oh, guys, if you're watching, I bet you he's going to get the Bustelo. Dude, the first time I had Bustelo, one of my best Spanish homies, like, well, he wasn't just best Spanish, he was one of my best homies. Like, he tried to get me to be the best man.
You were just being descriptive. I understood.
And but like, he just this was the dude and the family that had me realizing, like, I gotta hang out with less white people. Because like his whole family, man, I can't recall ever been like treated so good, and just like there was always food ready.
The Latinos and Italians, bro, those are the two that don't ever make you feel like a fucking stranger.
Your first time in the door, I felt like part of the family, and at first I felt like I was like walking into the middle, like I'm fucking up everybody's dinner, and they're like, no, like an extra chair appeared at the table, like, poof. Yeah. And like, oh, if you don't eat, we're fighting. Oh, okay, well, what's on them? And I was like, everything smells good, but the coffee, dude, I don't even know. It's not a French press, but they have this weird thing that they put on the fucking stovetop, and it's like
it's almost kettle. Like the camping one, like the camping coffee shit.
And you can only make 1 cup at a time.
Yeah. Oh, so that's different.
Yeah. So that was the thing. Like, if everyone wanted a cup, like, everybody sat and wait, and then we all sat and we sit there, and like, I remember they handed me my cup first, and I'm sitting there and put a little sugar in it and a little heavy cream, and they're all looking at me, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, well, just take a sip.
Did you put like, crack in my coffee?
Like, well, they just knew. They were like, this Blanquito never had no cafe, real cafe con leche. And
I tell people all the time, they're like, because if I don't drink 2 cups of coffee before I hit that door to work, I'm a dickhead. So at work, I tell people all the time, and they're like, oh, well, why don't you try Death Wish? That's the strongest coffee. And I'm like, Death Wish literally put me to fucking sleep. Like Death Wish literally put me to sleep.
I'm sorry, Death Wish, if you're here right now watching this. Your coffee doesn't taste as good as Bustelo either.
It doesn't. And I've never found a coffee like there's I'm gonna show you another one. I think I've showed you this before, but I'm gonna show it on screen. Hold up.
Let's see. All right. So I don't think he's shown me this one. This is gonna be a mystery for me. But I might actually be familiar because I've tried lots of coffees. Let's see what he's bringing in.
What did you tell the people?
I said this is gonna be a mystery for me because I'm not sure what you're bringing in. But I might have tasted it, so I might be able to.
I don't think you've tasted it. I've definitely showed you this before, but I don't think you've tasted it. This is the only other coffee that has woken me up like Bustelo has.
Ooh. Oh, okay, yeah. Wu-Tang coffee ain't nothing to fuck with.
It's bro, it is right up there with fucking Bustelo. Like it's ridiculous.
And it's does it have like a special aroma to it? Like, is it like a very like something special, recognizable?
Yeah. Yep. Just like my lady, my dad passed away, right? And she was always smelling coffee in the house, but she was like, it's a specific kind, and I've never smelled this coffee before. And I was like, we went to the store one day and I showed her Bustelo, and then she goes, that's the coffee. She's like, I've never had this coffee before, but that's the fucking smell.
Yo,
And this one, when you open it, it's the same way.
oh, so it's right up that alley of the Bustelo. That's smooth.
Ghostface knows his fucking coffee. I'm not hating on that man at all.
That's
man,
what's up.
That man knows his coffee. I'll give him that.
That's fresh, man. That is fresh. Yeah, because I remember seeing because there was a couple different Wu-Tang flavors, right? Or was it just Ghostface?
No, it's all Killer Coffee, which is all his brand. But they have like marble cake. They have cream, which I think they made it to something else. It was cream at one point. I have the bag because they rebranded.
Oh, they rebrand. Damn.
But and there's another one, and then they have beans too. Like you could grind.
You could get the bean and actually grind. Yo, that's what I want to get to that point of like where I got the magic bullet.
Yeah. I was telling my lady that
I grind the beans because I had one friend that did that, and it was 2003, and he pulls out the bag of beans, and I'm like, oh, dude, what are you gonna do with that? And he was like, boom, the magic blender.
Yeah.
And so that was like one of the Bustelo still tops that. But that was really close to the Bustelo, where I was like, damn, fresh grinding them grind them, put them right in, and fucking make that coffee.
That's probably the freshest shit,
dude. It was a game changer.
I just love the smell of the shit too. It's just
I'm definitely having a cup of coffee after we wrap this up. Just seeing that bright yellow container pop up is like, ooh, I need a cup.
This wasn't going to be a conversation with Mike Tech without talking about some coffee.
Yo, shout out to coffee for totally. Like that was a big part of my sobriety, man. It was because I just had to replace having something in my hand, and I was like, what could I put in my hand? You know, that helped. And that helped a lot. I haven't
kicked it yet, and I know that you said I should stop vaping on the thing, but it just, it helps me gather my shit together sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, like for me, I take mine outside. I go outside with it, and I believe I can see the collectibles in the background. That's really what made me stop vaping inside. I started realizing that the vape was like putting a film on all the plastic and shit. And it had my windows. All the windows in the house were nasty. It made the wall, and so that was like.
So all the reasons that people stop smoking in houses and they vape in their house is still a thing.
Yeah, like nobody's gonna smell the damage, but if you love your shit, eventually you're gonna see. And that's what happened. I looked at like one of my favorite collectibles that was on the wall, and I was like, oh man, that's all fucked up now.
I got a Wu-Tang clock up here, and I got a bunch of other collectibles too. I have signed autographs from my favorite wrestler right over here.
Ooh.
So yeah, you might be right. I might not vape in this room. Like my signed Mick Foley action figures over there.
Ooh.
It's Mankind. And it was cool because I had the Mankind action figure, and then I had his book, and he signed them as two different people. He signed his book as Mick Foley, and his action figure is Mankind.
Now, which book do you got? The kids' book, or do you got like the book?
I have a Nice Day, and I have his adult book after that one too.
Oh, see, I got the children's book because he had that at it was a horror movie convention up in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
He is such a cool
dude, so humble. Like pulled me down, like get over here, we're taking a picture, and like, and at the time I wasn't into wrestling. My brother was, so I was like, yo, man, I'm actually really here because I want to get, your ad autograph from my brother. Like, I can't go home without hooking up my brother. And like, he loved it. He was like, oh, that makes it even cooler, man.
And he saw that I was visibly nervous because my love for Mick Foley streams from my dad. Like he was me and my dad's favorite wrestler, and my dad looked like Mick Foley.
Oh,
you know
shit.
what I mean? So like,
And he was the coolest fucking dude.
same fucking missing tooth. Like we all have the same missing tooth that Mick Foley had missing, and then like when he smiled and everything looked like him. So like when I met him, I could barely fucking talk. My ladies were sitting in line. I looked at my lady. I was like, I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna fucking pass out.
The anxiety.
I've never had that problem with nobody. You know what I mean? Like I've met ICP, Twisted. I've met fucking I can't think of his name right off the rip, but I feel like an idiot not remembering his name.
ABK.
Jason.
Oh, Kane Hodder.
Yeah, I've met Kane. I've met fucking Sid Haig. You know what I mean? And none of them. Like I talked to all of them just fine. I met Tommy Dreamer from wrestling and Gangrel. Talked to them just fine. Mick Foley. Hi. And he saw like I was shaking his hand and shit. And then like he sat me down, started talking to me, and I told him
Made it cool.
Yeah, and he was like, hey bro, he goes, I have this beard oil and you got a great beard. He was like, do you want to put some in your beard? And then I put some in my beard, and that's when everything just went the fuck away. I was like, okay, I'm fine.
Dude just hooked me up with beard oil.
Right. I was like, I'm cool. But like, he's going to be at an indie show, Wildcat, in April 20th. And we're thinking about going because he's going to be there. Because I actually want to speak to him.
I want to try and go in with a little bit more courage this time. I'm ready. I've been practicing. I've been doing my vowels and shit.
But looking in the mirror, you're just Mick Foley.
Yo, that sounds like a good time, man. I like it.
But he's just down to earth. Like he saw that I was visibly nervous, and he tried to calm the situation down.
I feel like a lot of time they see the line, they're visibly nervous. They're like, ah, shit. Like, I got to meet 100 people today, and I hope I don't say something to lose a fan. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, oh, whew, I don't want to piss nobody off today.
It's like ABK, that song that he did, Nervous. Like, he's like, I don't care how many times I go out on that motherfucker. I'm still nervous.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. If you don't get a little bit of butterfly action, then you must have finally been dead inside. Oh, yeah.
My cousin's talking about this fucking. He's having a mental breakdown because they just did that Bray Wyatt thing, and Bray Wyatt died, and he doesn't know how to handle it.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you haven't been keeping up on wrestling. He's kind of, to me, he's like the new age Mick Foley.
Oh shit. Okay,
Like,
so we
had
lost somebody cool.
Yeah. He had his way of everything was crazy, bro. Like he had 3 different personas too. Like he had this. He was from Louisiana. He had this backwoods vibe, and then he had like this demon, and then he had this like Mr. fucking like friendly, like he had his own playhouse thing.
Oh,
Like,
get
it
out!
was
All right,
great.
so he was a smart one.
Yeah, he was great, bro.
He was a true entertainer.
Yeah,
And that's really, like you said, that's what Mick Foley was.
Yeah,
He gave us Dude Love. He gave us Cactus Jack.
right.
He gave us, like
The Bray Wyatt Funhouse was like a Mr. Rogers-esque. Like he had a button up and a sweater vest and shit, and he was like,
like
"Hi,
little
everybody."
Mr. Rogers mixed with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, but like still a little more dark. You know what I mean? But like he had like this witch, a buzzard, and shit like that. And like it was pretty cool. And they did a documentary on him. And now my cousin's in real tears.
Mm.
So do I have any more questions? Because I have like my basic questions written down, and then usually whoever's on the show always answers them through the other questions also. Like you did the same shit, like certain things, like I have other questions, but we have spoke on that. Just
Kind of covered them already.
Yeah. And I think that's cool with certain people. Like we vibe well, so it just goes.
It just comes out, man. Natural conversation, just oozing.
I think you might be one of the second longest. I know Brandon holds the longest.
I still haven't finished Brandon's. So I clicked on. I'm like, damn. Does that say like 5 hours?
and that's part of the me and him fucking getting along. You know what I mean? Like we get along so well that we could just do that. We could sit there and just bullshit for those hours, but at the same time, it's just.
I was hoping to keep it. I think we kept it so energetic that anybody watching probably didn't even notice it. Because what did we start about 3:30?
I would say I think it was a little. I'm not even sure.
Either way,
message. It was around there. I know that.
Right? It had to be close to 3:30.
Yeah, Facebook's not telling me the timestamp.
I had to email the link to myself. 3:16.
Oh,
Austin. Yo, dude. I didn't even know this shit was stone cold. Yo, that's fucking. Ooh.
So, I'm gonna get to wrapping this up because my dog's got to go outside. And it seemed like yours came on a few times.
Yo, it is perfect time because I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I heard him cry.
Yeah.
He got one of them Snickers bars ready, the fun size.
So tell the people what you got going on and where they can find you.
Yo, man, I am Mike Tech, TEK. On social media, you got to add the 85 because some other jerk fucking claimed Mike Tech before me. So, and his webpage is fucking lame as shit. So don't fucking go to that one.
The most positive man just said some fucking sideways shit. Talk about how positive you were and everything like that. Then you're like some lame ass.
Here's how we're gonna wrap it up. Yeah, so Mike Tech 85 on most social media. But always look for the guy in a goofy hat. Particularly look for Brostradamus because honestly, that fucking group shit is like way cooler than anything I've done solo yet. So now when I do solo shit, I gotta try and be cooler than this. And like I made half of that, so like I should be able to do it. But mostly like come find me and then find my friends because I think my friends are cooler than me, and you're a testament to that. You're one of them cooler fucking friends.
I'm not a cooler friend because I think his other friends are cooler than both of us.
Oh shit! You know,
I mean, our other friends are cooler than both of us.
we're just me and you. We're like the two shit stains stuck to the bottom of the toilet bowl. We ain't been scrubbed yet.
You might be the shit stain. I'm like the gum.
The gum. A little. He's a little bit sweeter, even though he's been chewed on. He's a little bit sweeter.
I didn't come sideways at anybody.
I'm sure.
Not on this podcast.
Where you were laying down and you came straight up.
I don't even know what to say.
That's a wrap. I can't even say come sideways. Shit.
I can't say shit. I'm a clickbait this and be like Mike Tech talk shit, so everybody watches, and then all the way through that other lame ass Mike Tech that's the only one.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that motherfucker. He ain't even do nothing with the name, except there is like a Mike Tech's Plumbing that like I don't know. I should meet that guy someday. I need to know more plumbing.
And it's just, and like cartoon, when I did his, like, he drags King Wicked, and he really didn't drag King Wicked like that during the interview.
He was relatively sweet.
Yeah, he was pretty positive, and everybody's like, "Why'd you do that? He didn't even drag him like that." I was like, "You watched it though, right? Because it said that." Like you clicked and it said that, and that's why you clicked.
We dangled the worm. We motherfuckers bit the hook.
Just like when I hit the fucking Thick Chris one, I was like, Thick Chris comes out as trans.
Yo, I didn't even look at the title. I was just like, I want to see this. Like, so that wasn't
the title, but when I was posting, I posted it all on my social media, and I was like, comes out as trans, says he's never making beats again. Find out on the podcast.
and what a day for us to record, because I don't know when we're gonna air, but we're recording this on April Fool's Day, and I just dropped shit. So like like even today, like today's a day where everything's fucking.
If this goes as planned, because I did one last night, but it wasn't really the best podcast. Like we were just kind of dicking around. So if this saves as quick as it should, and I upload them from my phone. I edited them right on fucking CapCut on my phone.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. It's easier for me.
All right.
You know what I mean?
CapCut
It's just
does
easier
the
that
work.
way. Right. And it's that AI CapCut shit.
I need some CapCut in my life.
And that's what I usually do. And that takes a minute sometimes, but I'll probably just, upload it, save it, and put it on while I'm watching wrestling tonight. And fucking probably upload it sometime tonight or tomorrow morning.
All right. That's what's up.
It was going to be Friday, but I don't think I want to put that other podcast out. There's
But
like
hey.
there's two of them where they get pretty fucked up, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not posting that.
Mm-mm. I feel you. Well, hey, man, happy April Fool's Day.
Happy April Fools. Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you. Go follow Mike Motherfucking Tech on all
Yeah.
platforms. It's
And
not
make sure-
motherfucking, no.
And then it's love, peace, and chicken grease all day.
Gang, gang.
Howdy.